The sky above Konoha burned. It wasn't just metaphor, clouds churned like boiling ink, the air warped, and the ground itself trembled under the weight of something godlike. The 6 paths of pain stood as silent judges, their orange hair unmoving despite the chaos, their Rinnegan eyes cold and absolute. And then, everything ended. Shinra. Tensia. The village vanished in a single, devastating pulse. The one who shouldn't exist. Keijuki didn't remember dying. One moment, he was sitting in his small apartment, scrolling through clips of anime fights, Naruto versus Pain, ironically, and the next. Darkness. Then pain. Not the abstract kind. Real, physical, suffocating pain. His eyes snapped open. Dust filled his lungs. His body screamed. Something heavy pinned his legs. His ears rang with distant cries, people shouting, weeping, calling names that would never answer. This is. He knew this scene. The destroyed Hidden Leaf Village. The aftermath of Pain's assault. Wait, his voice came out cracked. That means I'm in Naruto. He tried to move. His body responded sluggishly, weak, unfamiliar. A broken beam lay across him. He pushed, trembling, and somehow managed to shift it enough to crawl free. Every inch hurt. Keijuki staggered to his feet. He looked down at his hands, smaller, rougher. Not his old body. I got reincarnated. His heart pounded, not just from fear, but realization. No ninja clan. No famous bloodline. Just a random villager. A side character. The kind who dies off-screen. No way, he muttered. Around him, survivors crawled from rubble. Smoke rose in thick columns. The once proud village was now a graveyard of broken stone and silence. Then, a pulse. Warm. Expanding. Radiant. Keijuki froze. A massive surge of chakra flooded the air like a tidal wave. Chibaku Tensia, no, this is. He looked up. Far beyond the ruins, atop a distant structure, he could feel it. Nagato. Using Rin rebirth. Light washed over the battlefield. It wasn't blinding, it was gentle. Soothing. Like the world itself was breathing again. Keijuki felt something tug at his soul. A strange sensation, like threads stitching him together. Wait. I died too. He remembered the crushing weight. The suffocation. Yeah. He had died. Just like the countless villagers. And now. He gasped. Air filled his lungs fully for the first time. His injuries vanished as if they had never existed. Around him, others stirred. People who had been lifeless moments ago now blinked awake, confused and trembling. I got revived, Keijuki whispered. By Nagato. By the villain. By the man he once only saw on a screen. Keijuki clenched his fists. This is real. But something else stirred inside him. A heat. Not chakra. Something different. At first, Keijuki thought it was adrenaline. His body felt warm, no, hot. Too hot. Why do I feel like I'm burning? He raised his hand. And froze. A flicker. A small spark danced on his fingertip. What? The spark grew. A flame. Bright orange, crackling with unnatural intensity. Keijuki's eyes widened. No way. His mind raced. Fire. Not jutsu. Not chakra-based. Something else entirely. The flame fruit. His breath caught. The Mera no Mi. Ace's power. He clenched his fist, and the flame exploded outward, engulfing his arm. But it didn't burn him. It was him. I can control fire, like this. He waved his arm instinctively. A trail of flames followed, licking through the air like a living thing. No hand seals. No chakra molding. Just will. Keijuki laughed, half in disbelief, half in awe. This is insane. But then his expression darkened. Because he remembered something important. In Naruto, power without control meant death. And he had just been reborn into the weakest possible starting point. No clan. No teacher. No safety net. Just raw power and a dangerous world. Days passed. Konoha began rebuilding. The dead had returned, but the scars remained. Keijuki kept his abilities hidden. At least, for now. He learned quickly that his new body did possess chakra, and surprisingly decent control. Even without a clan. I've got potential, he murmured while practicing alone in a forest clearing. He formed a basic hand sign. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. A small, uneven flame sputtered out. Pathetic. Compared to. He snapped his fingers. A massive burst of natural flame erupted instantly, scorching the ground. Yeah. This is way better. But there was a problem. His fruit power didn't behave like chakra. It didn't run out the same way. It didn't follow the same rules. And that made it unpredictable. Dangerous. Still, Keijuki smirked. If I master both, I could be something else entirely. Not just a ninja. Something beyond. Keijuki stood atop a hill overlooking the recovering village. Somewhere out there, Naruto Uzumaki was being hailed as a hero. Nagato had died. And the world was quietly shifting toward the next storm. The fourth great ninja war. Keijuki exhaled slowly. I know what's coming. That was his greatest advantage. But knowledge alone wasn't enough. Not in a world of monsters. He raised his hand again. Fire bloomed, this time larger, denser. He focused. Compressed it. Shaped it. The flames twisted into a spear-like form. Not bad. A grin spread across his face. For a nobody. The wind carried the scent of ash and renewal. Keijuki stepped forward. No clan. No name. The fire surged brighter. But I've got something they don't. His eyes burned with determination. A second life, and the power to rewrite it. He clenched his flaming fist. Let's see this world try to stop me. Konoha rebuilt faster than Keijuki expected, but not faster than suspicion. A boy with no family, no records, no past. That alone put him under watch. You're saying he survived alone? A Shinobi asked. Yes, replied another. No known clan. No guardians. Put him in the academy. Keijuki sat in a classroom filled with children far younger than him. Mentally, he was an adult. Physically. 12. Great, he muttered. Back to school. But this wasn't normal school. This was where monsters were born. He kept his head low, but his eyes were sharp. He recognized names. Konohamaru. Mojai. Udon. And whispers. Did you hear? Naruto saved the village. Keijuki leaned back slightly. So this is where the legend begins. Keijuki trained at night. Always alone. He discovered something terrifying and exciting. His flame body had stages. Base flame simple fire generation. Elemental body partial intangibility. Full flame form complete transformation. But using it too long caused something new. Fatigue. Not physical. Not chakra. Something deeper. Like my life force is being taxed. He clenched his jaw. So there's a limit. Good. Limits meant he wouldn't lose control. During a sparring session, Keijuki slipped. A punch came too fast. Instinct kicked in. His arm turned to fire. The attack passed through. Silence. The instructor froze. What was that? Keijuki immediately dropped the form. Chakra control. No one believed him. But no one understood it either. And that confusion became his shield. Keijuki graduated early. Not because he stood out, but because he adapted. Too quickly. He wasn't placed with important characters. No Team 7. No Elite Jonin. Just a standard squad. Perfect. Less attention. More freedom. But missions revealed something troubling. He was far stronger than he should be. And hiding it was becoming harder. Keijuki began merging systems. Fire release and flame fruit. The result. Devastation. Instead of normal jutsu, he created hybrid techniques. Blazing clone shadow clone that explodes into fire. Inferno step burst movement using flame propulsion. Ember veil partial intangibility defense. This isn't ninja anymore, he whispered. This is something else. He was 16 when they came for him. And you've been observed. No threats. No accusations. Just an offer. You operate beyond standard Shinobi parameters. Keijuki smirked slightly. So you noticed. Join us. He paused. Then nodded. Fine. Because he knew. The real world of Naruto wasn't in missions. It was in shadows. Keijuki disappeared from public records, replaced by a mask, a code name, Kija, Heat Haze. And your missions were different. No glory, no witnesses, just results. Keijuki thrived. His flame abilities made him terrifying. Silent assassinations via heat distortion, instant cremation of evidence, intangibility for infiltration. He became a ghost. Rumors spread. A Shinobi who burns without flame. One mission changed everything. He saw him. Blonde hair. Blue eyes. Determined. Naruto. Not the loud kid from the academy. Something deeper now. Stronger. Keijuki watched from the shadows. So this is the protagonist. Naruto paused suddenly. Someone's there. Keijuki vanished instantly. He sensed me. Keijuki smiled beneath his mask. Interesting. The Akatsuki didn't die with pain. They fractured. Scattered cells. Fanatics. Survivors. Keijuki's next missions targeted them. One by one. He burned through their ranks. But then, a survivor spoke. You think this ends with us? Keijuki's eyes narrowed. There are bigger shadows. That was when he realized. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning. The world moved. Just like Keijuki remembered. But now, he was part of it. The decoration came. The nations united. Keijuki stood among thousands. But he didn't feel like one of them. He wasn't a normal Shinobi. He was something unpredictable. War unleashed everything. Keijuki stopped hiding. For the first time, he fought openly. Flames roared across battlefields. Enemy forces couldn't touch him. Weapons passed through his body. Jutsu burned away. They gave him a new name. The Living Inferno. Naruto and Keijuki. They finally spoke. Naruto approached him directly. You're not normal. Keijuki chuckled. Took you long enough. Naruto grinned. But you're on our side. Keijuki looked at the battlefield. For now. Naruto didn't flinch. Then that's enough. That simple answer shook Keijuki more than any enemy. Madara. Obito. God-tier threats. Keijuki pushed beyond limits. His flame form evolved. White hot. Near plasma. He wasn't just fire anymore. He was becoming something closer to pure energy. But the cost increased. Every use shortened his endurance. Keijuki faced a realization. This wasn't just Naruto's story anymore. He had changed things. Small ripples. But growing. Events began diverging. People who should die survived. Battles changed. Outcomes shifted. Keijuki stared at his hands. I'm rewriting the story. His flame burned brighter. But so did the strain. If I push further, he knew. He might burn out completely. Not die. Erase. Stand behind Naruto. Or become something else entirely. A force beyond Shinobi. Keijuki smiled. Guess I'll do both. Flames erupted. Not destructive. Controlled. Purposeful. I wasn't born into this world. His body turned into blazing light. But I'll decide how it ends. History never recorded him properly. No clan. No lineage. No official rank beyond Anbu. But whispers remained. A man who burned like the sun. A Shinobi who couldn't be touched. A ghost who changed the war. And somewhere, Keijuki stood quietly on a rebuilt Hokage monument. Watching. Not as a hero. Not as a villain. But as something in between. Second life well spent. A small flame flickered in his palm. Then vanished into the wind. The training ground was empty. Not abandoned, just avoided. There were places in Konoha where Shinobi felt something was wrong, even if they couldn't explain it. This clearing had become one of those places. Grass didn't grow evenly here. The soil was dark. Scorched, but not by any normal fire. Keijuki stood at the center. Barefoot. Still. The air around him shimmered faintly, like heat rising from summer asphalt. But it was night. Cold. And yet, the temperature here refused to drop. Again. He exhaled slowly. Not a breath of exhaustion. A deliberate reset. His right hand lifted. Flame appeared instantly. No delay. No build-up. That part was easy now. Too easy. The real problem was control. Fire was never meant to be held. The flame in his palm wasn't wild. Not anymore. It used to roar, lash out, expand uncontrollably. Now, it behaved. It stayed small. Compact. Dense. But that wasn't mastery. That was restraint. And restraint had limits. Keijuki narrowed his eyes. Condense further. The flame shrank. From a fist-sized blaze to something no bigger than a marble. But the heat didn't decrease. It increased. Sharply. The ground beneath his feet began to crack. Too fast. His jaw tightened. The flame flickered violently. Then collapsed. Gone. Keijuki's hand trembled slightly. Damn. This was the problem. In the world he came from, the flame fruit wasn't just about producing fire. It was about becoming it. Naturally. Effortless. But here, this world resisted him. Chakra had rules. Balance. Flow. Structure. His power didn't. It clashed. Every time he tried to refine it, the systems rejected each other. Like mixing oil and water. He looked at his hand again. So I forced them to blend. Theory of fusion. Keijuki crouched, drawing lines in the dirt. Not symbols. Not seals. Concepts. Circles. Flow patterns. Chakra moves like this. He traced a loop. Fire doesn't. He scratched through it. It expands. Consumes. Converts. He drew jagged lines outward. So instead of forcing fire into chakra, he paused. I forced chakra into fire. Silence. Then a slow smile formed. That might work. Second attempt. He stood again. Closed his eyes. This time, he didn't start with flame. He started with chakra. A thin stream flowed through his arm. Controlled. Precise. Measured. Now, he ignited it. The result was immediate. Different. The flame that appeared wasn't wild. But it wasn't passive either. It pulsed. Like it was alive. Reacting. Adjusting. Keijuki's eyes snapped open. This is new. The heat wasn't spreading outward. It was folding inward. Compressing. Not naturally. But because the chakra was forcing it to behave. His breathing slowed. Don't rush it. The flame shrank. Stable. For 1 second. 2. 3. Boom. A sharp burst erupted. Not large. But violent enough to throw him back several meters. Keijuki rolled, skidding across the ground. He stopped on his back. Staring at the sky. Progress. Pain meant progress. He sat up slowly. No injuries. But his arm burned faintly. Not from heat. From strain. This is different from before. Before, overuse drained him. Now, it pushed back. Like the power itself resisted refinement. Good. He stood again. A grin forming. That means I'm getting closer. The sound of footsteps. Crunch. Keijuki froze. Not visibly. But internally. He hadn't sensed anyone. Which means they were either weak or very strong. He turned slowly. A figure stood at the edge of the clearing. Orange. Familiar. Naruto. You always train in places like this? Naruto asked casually. Keijuki stared at him. You've been here long. Naruto shrugged. Long enough to see that explosion. Silence. The air between them shifted. Not hostile. But aware. Naruto stepped forward. Then stopped. It's hot. Keijuki smirked faintly. Good observation. Naruto scratched his cheek. It's not normal heat. Keijuki didn't respond. Because Naruto was right. This wasn't temperature. It was pressure. Instinct vs awareness. Naruto's expression shifted slightly. More serious now. You're not using normal fire style, are you? No. Then what is it? Keijuki looked at his hand. Flame flickered briefly. Something I brought with me. Naruto blinked. From where? Keijuki met his eyes. Somewhere you wouldn't believe. A pause. Then Naruto grinned. I've heard crazier. A different kind of conversation. They stood there. Not as Anbu and Hiro. Not as strangers. Just two anomalies in a world that didn't quite fit them. Naruto pointed at the scorched ground. Wanna test something? Keijuki raised an eyebrow. You're volunteering. Naruto grinned wider. I'm durable. Keijuki exhaled softly. Fine. Test begins. Naruto dropped into a stance. Not reckless. Not anymore. Controlled. Focused. Keijuki noticed immediately. He's changed. No wasted movement. No unnecessary noise. This wasn't the loud kid from before. This was a Shinobi forged through pain. Keijuki raised his hand. Flame formed. Smaller this time. Condensed. Naruto's eyes sharpened. That's dangerous. Yes. Good. Clash of two systems. Keijuki moved first. Not fast. But sudden. A burst of flame beneath his feet. Flame step. He vanished. Reappeared at Naruto's side. A controlled swing. Naruto blocked. Barely. The impact wasn't heat. It was force. Naruto slid back. That's not normal fire. Keijuki didn't stop. Another step. Another angle. Unpredictable movement. Naruto formed a clone instantly. Then another. Keijuki's eyes narrowed. Smart. But clones meant nothing. If they couldn't touch him. Intangibility vs impact. A clone rushed in. Punch. Passed through flame. Keijuki countered. But Naruto, the real one, was already moving. Got you. A Rasengan formed. Close range. Keijuki reacted. Too slow. Impact. The sphere collided with his side. But instead of hitting flesh, it tore through flame. Distorting. Dragging. Keijuki's body destabilized mid-transformation. He was forced back into solid form. Sliding across the ground. First realization. Naruto stood still. Breathing steady. You can be hit. Keijuki wiped his mouth slowly. Only if I mess up. Naruto smiled slightly. Then don't mess up. The air didn't settle after the impact. It trembled. Like something invisible had cracked and hadn't decided whether to break completely. Keijuki stood still, one hand pressed lightly against his side where the Rasengan had torn through his flame form. There was no wound. But there was sensation. A phantom ache. So it can disrupt me, he murmured. Across from him, Naruto rolled his shoulder slightly, eyes sharp but not hostile. You turned into fire, Naruto said, almost thinking out loud. But it still worked. Keijuki exhaled slowly. Not worked. He lifted his hand. Flame flickered, less stable this time. Interrupted. Understanding the gap. Silence stretched between them. But it wasn't empty. It was analytical. Naruto pointed slightly. That spinning thing, it messes with chakra flow. Keijuki's eyes narrowed. So it's not just force. Naruto nodded. Yeah. It grinds into whatever it hits. Keijuki looked at his own palm again. Flame shifted. Unsteady. Then that means, if his fire form wasn't purely physical, and not purely chakra, then something like Rasengan could destabilize the balance between both. So I'm not untouchable. For the first time. That thought didn't frustrate him. It grounded him. Naruto steps forward. You're holding back, Naruto said suddenly. Keijuki looked up. Of course I am. Naruto shook his head. No, I mean something else. A pause. Then. You're thinking too much. Keijuki frowned slightly. That's how you survive. Naruto smiled. Not always. A clash of ideologies. The wind picked up slightly. Dust shifted across the scorched ground. Naruto stepped closer. You're trying to control everything, he continued. Every movement, every bit of power. Keijuki didn't deny it. Because if I don't, this burns out of control. Naruto pointed at him. But that hesitation, that's why I hit you. Silence. Keijuki didn't respond immediately. Because he knew. Naruto was right. Fire vs instinct. Then show me, Keijuki said finally. Naruto blinked. Show you what? Keijuki raised his hand again. This time, the flame didn't form carefully. It burst into existence. Wild. Larger. More aggressive. How you fight without overthinking. Naruto grinned. Now that sounds fun. Round 2 begins. No warning. Naruto moved first this time. Fast. Faster than before. Not reckless. But decisive. Keijuki didn't try to analyze. Didn't calculate trajectories. Didn't predict. He moved. Flame step, unrestrained. Instead of precise bursts. He exploded forward. Fire blasted beneath his feet, launching him sideways. Then upward. Then back in. Erratic. Unpredictable. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. That's new. A clone intercepted. Keijuki didn't phase through. He punched. Flame-coated fist. The clone exploded instantly. No hesitation. No delay. Naruto came in from above. Kick. Keijuki blocked. But instead of resisting, his arm turned partially into flame, softening the impact. Then snapping back to solid. Countering instantly. Naruto skidded back. You're switching mid-contact. Keijuki's expression sharpened. Adapting. The rhythm changes. This wasn't testing anymore. It wasn't even sparring. It was something closer to synchronization. 2 fighters adjusting in real time. Naruto formed 3 clones. They spread out. No shouting. No distractions. Just movement. Keijuki exhaled slowly. All right. Awareness awakens. Something shifted. Subtle. Not visible. Not even chakra-based. Keijuki stopped focusing on seeing. Instead, he felt the air. The tension. The intent. A flicker. Behind him. He moved before the attack landed. A clone's punch missed. Keijuki turned. Struck. Gone. Another presence. Left. He pivoted instantly. Blocked. Countered. Naruto, mid-attack, froze slightly. You sensed that. Keijuki didn't answer. Because he didn't fully understand it either. Proto-observation. It wasn't chakra sensing. It wasn't sound. It wasn't sight. It was awareness. Like the space around him whispered movement before it happened. So this is what that feeling was, he murmured. Naruto grinned. You got sharper. Keijuki smirked faintly. You pushed me there. Escalation. All right, Naruto said, cracking his knuckles. No more warm-up. Chakra surged. Visible. Heavy. The ground beneath him cracked slightly. Keijuki's eyes narrowed. Finally. Heat vs chakra. Naruto rushed in. Faster than before. Keijuki reacted. But this time, Naruto's movement wasn't linear. He shifted mid-step. Feinted. Appeared at Keijuki's blind spot. But Keijuki felt it. Turned. Blocked. But the impact was heavier. Stronger. Naruto wasn't just attacking. He was overwhelming. Keijuki slid back. His power jumped. Naruto grinned. You're not the only one getting serious. Pressure builds. Keijuki stood still. Flame began to rise. Not outward, but inward. His body glowed faintly. Heat distortion intensified. The air warped around him. Then I'll match you. Partial flame form stabilized. His arm transformed. Not fully, but cleaner. More controlled. No flickering. No instability. Naruto noticed immediately. You fixed it. Keijuki shook his head slightly. No. He stepped forward. I accepted it. Clash. They collided. No tricks. No clones. Just raw exchange. Punch. Block. Kick. Counter. Flame met chakra-enhanced strikes. Steam exploded with every impact. The ground cracked beneath them. Naruto swung. Keijuki phased partially. Then resolidified. Grabbing Naruto's wrist. Flame surged. Naruto twisted. Escaped. Countered with a close-range strike. Keijuki took it. Didn't retreat. Instead, he stepped into it. Turning point. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. You're not avoiding anymore. Keijuki's voice was calm. I don't need to. Flame erupted. Not wildly, but tightly controlled. Wrapped around his arm. Technique, ignition drive. Instead of releasing fire, he used it as propulsion. His punch accelerated mid-motion. Impact landed. Hard. Naruto was sent back, sliding across the ground. But he didn't fall. He stood, smiling. That's more like it. Silence after impact. They both stopped. Breathing steady. Not exhausted, but aware. The ground between them was destroyed. Scorched. Cracked. Marked by something neither of them fully understood yet. Mutual recognition. Naruto walked forward slowly. You're strong. Keijuki didn't respond immediately. You're stronger than I expected. Naruto laughed lightly. Same. A different kind of respect. There was no winner. No need for one. This wasn't about proving dominance. It was about understanding. Growth. Keijuki looked at his hand again. The flame was different now. Not just power, but response. I think I get it. Naruto tilted his head. Get what? Keijuki looked at him. Power isn't something you force into shape. A pause. It's something you move with. Naruto grinned. Told you. Far away. Watching. High above the forest. Far beyond their awareness. A figure stood silently. Masked. Still. Watching the scorched battlefield below. Interesting, the figure murmured. A faint ripple in space formed behind him. An anomaly outside the script. His gaze lingered on Keijuki. We'll need to account for that. The ripple closed. He vanished. The quiet aftergrowth. The training ground stayed scarred. Even days later. Even after the wind, the night dew, and the passing of time. The earth didn't forget. And neither did Keijuki. He stood in the same place again. Same clearing. Same silence. But something inside him had changed. Not dramatically. Not explosively. Just shifted. Like a flame that had learned how to listen. Again. He closed his eyes. No hand signs. No forced ignition. Just stillness. Listening instead of seeing. At first. Nothing. Just wind. Leaves. The distant hum of the village. But then. A flicker. Not sound. Not chakra. Presence. A bird landing behind him. He felt it. Not clearly. Not precisely. But enough. Keijuki opened his eyes. There it is. Observation begins. He turned slowly. The bird flew away. But he wasn't watching it anymore. He was thinking. This isn't sensing. It didn't tell him what. Or where exactly. It just whispered. Something is there. A warning. A hint. So it's incomplete. He raised his hand. Flame formed, soft. Controlled. Then I refine it. Training without movement. Keijuki didn't move for the next hour. Not physically. He stood still. Letting the world move around him. Footsteps in the distance. Wind shifting direction. Insects crawling through grass. Each one. A faint signal. Each one. Barely perceptible. Too many. His brow tightened. If I try to feel everything. The signals blurred. Overlapped. Noise. I need to filter. The first rule, intent. He remembered the fight. Naruto. The moment he reacted without seeing. What triggered it? Not movement. Not speed. Intent. Killing intent, or attack intent. That was it. That was the difference. He focused again. This time. He ignored everything else. Waited. Filtered. Nothing. Stillness. Silence. Then. A spike. Sharp. Sudden. Behind him. Keijuki moved instantly. Sidestep. Turn. Hand raised. Flame ready. But there was nothing there. Only wind. Leaves. Empty space. False trigger. He frowned. No. It felt real. Too real. Someone was watching. Keijuki didn't relax. Didn't lower his guard. His eyes scanned slowly. Come out. Silence. But inside, that faint sense lingered. Not attack. Not immediate danger. Just awareness. You're not here to fight, Keijuki said quietly. A pause. Then a voice. From nowhere. From everywhere. You've grown faster than expected. The air breaks. Keijuki's pupils shrank slightly. That voice was calm. Detached. Not hostile. But not friendly either. Show yourself. A ripple formed. Space itself seemed to distort. Like heat-bending light. But different. Colder. Sharper. A figure stepped out. Masked. Robed. Unfamiliar. Keijuki didn't move. But inside, everything sharpened. You're not Angu. No. Not Akatsuki either. The figure tilted his head slightly. Fragments of them, perhaps. The pressure changes. Keijuki felt it now. Clearly. Not chakra. Not killing intent. Something else. Heavy. Like standing near something that shouldn't exist. What are you? Keijuki asked. The figure didn't answer immediately. Instead, he observed. Carefully. You are the anomaly, he said finally. A word that didn't belong. Keijuki's eyes narrowed. Anomaly. Yes. The figure stepped forward. Slow. Measured. Your existence does not align with this world's structure. Keijuki's flame flickered slightly. And yet here I am. Yes. A pause. Which is why you are dangerous. First contact. Keijuki didn't wait. Didn't hesitate. He moved. Flame step. Explosive acceleration. He closed the distance instantly. Hand ignited. Strike aimed directly. The figure didn't dodge. Didn't block. Didn't react. Keijuki's attack passed through him. No flame. No impact. No resistance. Just nothing. Keijuki landed behind him. Eyes wide slightly. Not intangibility. Different. Completely different. Reality doesn't respond. You rely on transformation, the figure said calmly. Keijuki turned slowly. And you don't exist properly. The figure almost smiled. Something like that. The first counter. Keijuki didn't waste time. Flame surged. Condensed. He stepped in again. This time. Not just speed. Ignition drive. His punch accelerated mid-motion. Compressed heat. Focused impact. The figure raised a hand. Lightly. The moment Keijuki's attack reached. It stopped. Not blocked. Not resisted. Just halted. Midair. Keijuki's eyes widened. What? The air warped. And then. Impact reversal. Keijuki was launched backward. Not hit. Not struck. But repelled. Violently. He crashed through 2 trees before stopping. Pain returns. This time. He felt it. Real. His body stayed solid. No flame. No intangibility. It forced me out of it, he realized. He stood slowly. Blood at the corner of his mouth. You interfered with the transition. The figure nodded slightly. You are not pure energy. So you can interrupt the process. Yes. The gap in power. Keijuki exhaled slowly. His mind raced. This wasn't like Naruto. This wasn't like normal Shinobi. This opponent didn't fight within the same system. Then I adjust. Flame stabilization. Instead of switching forms. Keijuki kept both. Partially solid. Partially flame. Balanced. Risky. But stable enough. Let's try this again. The second clash. He moved again. Faster. Sharper. Less hesitation. The figure responded this time. A small step. Minimal movement. But precise. Keijuki struck. Missed. Turned. Felt it. That intent. Behind him. He reacted instantly. Blocked. But the force was unnatural. Not physical. Not chakra. He was pushed again. Sliding. Grinding against the ground. You're adapting, the figure noted. Keijuki steadied himself. I don't have a choice. The truth revealed. The figure looked at him for a long moment. Then spoke. You are building something that should not exist in this world. Keijuki didn't deny it. And, if left unchecked, it will surpass this world's limits. A pause. And that cannot be allowed. Intent becomes clear. For the first time. Keijuki felt it. Clearly. Not vague. Not distant. Killing intent. His body reacted instantly. Flame surged. Dense. Sharp. Controlled. Then try and stop me. The air tightened. Not with chakra. Not with wind. But with something invisible. A pressure that didn't belong to this world. Keijuki stood still, flames coiling tighter around his arms, not bursting outward, but compressing inward like a restrained storm. Across from him, the masked figure didn't move. Didn't need to. That alone was more unsettling than any attack. You're not even taking a stance, Keijuki muttered. The figure tilted his head slightly. I don't require one. Fear, recognized. Keijuki exhaled slowly. And for the first time, he acknowledged it. Not panic. Not hesitation. But something quieter. Heavier. This is the first time I might actually lose, he thought. And strangely, that thought didn't weaken him. It sharpened him. Fight resumes. He moved first. No build-up. No signal. Flame step burst variant. Instead of a single directional launch. Keijuki detonated flame in rapid succession. Left. Right. Forward. Up. His path became erratic. Chaotic. Impossible to track by normal means. But the figure turned his head. Perfectly. Following him. So even this isn't enough, Keijuki realized mid-motion. First exchange. Keijuki struck from above. A downward kick. Flame trailing. The figure raised 2 fingers. Just slightly. The moment Keijuki entered range. Space distortion. Everything bent. Not visibly. But functionally. Keijuki's trajectory shifted. By centimeters. Enough to miss completely. He landed. Turned. Struck again. Same result. Near hits. Never contact. Frustration builds. You're not dodging, Keijuki said, breath steady but mind racing. You're changing the outcome. The figure nodded faintly. A simple interpretation. Second strategy. Keijuki stopped attacking. Instead, he raised both hands. Flame gathered. Condensed. Compressed harder than before. The air screamed softly. The ground beneath him cracked deeper. If I can't hit you directly. He narrowed his eyes. I'll remove the space you're manipulating. Technique, Inferno collapse. He slammed his hands downward. The flame didn't explode outward. It imploded first. Drawing air inward. Then, a massive, concentrated blast expanded in all directions. Not a projectile. Not a strike. An area of destruction. The forest shook. Trees snapped. Ground lifted. Fire surged like a controlled wave. And for a moment, the figure disappeared inside it. Silence. Keijuki stood still. Breathing controlled. Eyes scanning. Did it hit? The flames parted slowly. The figure stood. Unharmed. Unmoved. Insufficient, he said calmly. Impact of reality. Keijuki's expression didn't change. But inside, something dropped. That should have forced contact. But it didn't. Because this opponent didn't obey rules. The counterattack begins. The figure stepped forward. Just once. Keijuki felt it instantly. That pressure. Spiking. Sharpening. Move, his instinct screamed. He did. But. Delayed reality shift. Pain hit him. A split second after he moved. What? His shoulder twisted unnaturally. Like the space it occupied had been altered. Too late to avoid. Too early to understand. He staggered back. Flame flickering violently. I dodged. You moved, the figure corrected. But the effect remained. Unavoidable damage. Keijuki clenched his teeth. So even if I evade, you cannot escape entirely. Blood dripped down his arm. First real injury. Something changes. Keijuki inhaled sharply. And then, He stopped thinking about techniques. Stopped thinking about counters. Stopped trying to understand. Instead, he focused on one thing. Survival. The world slowed. Not literally, but in perception. That faint awareness. That incomplete sense. It expanded. Not wider. Sharper. True observation awakens, instinct level. The noise faded. The forest. The wind. Everything unnecessary disappeared. Only one thing remained. The figure. Not his body. Not his movement. His intent. The next attack. It came. Before the figure moved. Before space distorted. Before anything visible happened. Keijuki reacted. Not to motion, but to inevitability. He twisted his body. Flame shifting. Partially intangible. The distortion hit. But this time, it missed. By a fraction. Breakthrough. You perceived it, the figure said quietly. Keijuki didn't answer. Because he wasn't fully conscious of it. He just knew. I can't see him, but I can feel when the world changes. Momentum shifts slightly. Keijuki stepped forward. Not aggressively, but deliberately. Your turn, he said quietly. Controlled counterattack. No wild bursts. No large-scale flames. Just a single step. Flame ignited. Not outward, but inward. Technique, ignition core. Instead of coating his body, he condensed flame inside his center. Boosting output. Stability. Reaction speed. He moved. Cleaner. Sharper. The figure responded. But this time, Keijuki adjusted mid-motion. Because he felt the shift. Before it completed. First contact. His hand. Connected. Lightly. But undeniably. The figure paused. For the first time. Contact, he murmured. The cost immediately follows. Keijuki's body trembled. His flame destabilized violently. His vision blurred. Too much. The strain hit all at once. His balance broke. He dropped to one knee. Flame flickering out of control. Limit reached. His breathing became uneven. I forced it too far. The figure stepped back. Not attacking. Not finishing. Just observing. You are incomplete, he said calmly. Keijuki glared up. No kidding. The judgment. The figure turned slightly. You will either stabilize this power. A pause. Or destroy yourself before you become a threat. Keijuki's jaw tightened. And if I don't? The figure looked back at him. Then I will return. Departure. Space distorted again. And he was gone. Just like that. Aftermath. Silence returned. But it wasn't the same silence. Keijuki remained on one knee. Breathing heavily. His flame flickered weakly. That wasn't even a full fight. He laughed quietly. Not amused. Not bitter. Just aware. I'm still far from the top. A new understanding. He looked at his hands. But I touched him. A small smile formed. And next time. The flame steadied. Slightly. I won't stop there. Faraway reaction. In a distant, unseen place. The masked figure reappeared. Another voice spoke from the shadows. Well. The figure responded calmly. He has begun to awaken perception beyond chakra. A pause. Then he's a problem. Yes. Silence. Monitor him. Ash doesn't fall right away. Keijuki didn't remember falling. Only the moment before. When his body stopped responding the way it should. When flame stopped feeling like him. And started feeling like something he was barely holding together. He woke to silence. Not peaceful silence. The kind that presses against your ears. Heavy. His vision came back slowly. Blur first. Then shapes. Dark sky. Broken trees. Scorched earth. Still here, he muttered. His voice sounded distant. Like it belonged to someone else. The body keeps score. He tried to sit up. Pain answered immediately. Not sharp. Not overwhelming. But everywhere. Like something inside him had been stretched too far and hadn't snapped back yet. That's new. Before, his limits were simple. Use too much power, get tired. Now, It felt deeper. Structural. As if his body, and whatever his power truly was, had disagreed violently. He lifted his hand. Flame flickered. Weak. Unstable. It sputtered out almost immediately. Keijuki stared at his palm. So this is what happens when I push it. Memory of contact. He closed his eyes again. Replaying it. That moment. When his hand actually touched the masked figure. There had been resistance. Not physical. But real. I crossed something, he whispered. A boundary. A line he hadn't even known existed. And whatever lived beyond that line had pushed back. Hard. Fear, finally honest. Keijuki exhaled slowly. I almost lost control. Not in the way of going berserk. Not rage. Not distraction. Worse. He had almost lost cohesion. His body. His form. His sense of self. For a brief second. He didn't feel like a person. He felt like something unstable. Like fire without shape. I don't want that. That was the first honest thought he'd had since arriving in this world. Not about power. Not about survival. Not about changing the story. Just. I don't want to disappear. Footsteps in the distance. Crunch. Soft. Measured. Keijuki didn't move. Didn't react. But inside. That faint awareness stirred again. Weak. But present. Someone's coming. Not hostile. Not sharp. Familiar. He didn't need to turn. Yeah, figured you'd be here. Naruto. Not a rescue. Naruto stepped into the clearing. His usual energy wasn't loud tonight. It was quieter. Focused. He looked around. At the damage. The broken trees. The scorched ground. This wasn't training. Keijuki let out a weak breath. No. Naruto walked closer. Stopped a few steps away. Not crowding him. Not rushing in. You got hit hard. Yeah. Simple exchange. No drama. No exaggeration. But Naruto's eyes were sharp. That wasn't normal chakra, he said. Keijuki glanced at him. You felt it too. Naruto nodded. Shared silence. They didn't talk for a while. Naruto sat down beside him. Not asking questions. Not pushing. Just being there. For Keijuki. That was unfamiliar. You're not going to ask? Keijuki said eventually. Naruto shrugged. You'll tell me if you want to. Keijuki let out a quiet laugh. You're strange. Naruto grinned slightly. Yeah. Heard that before. The truth, partial. Keijuki stared at the ground. Someone's watching me. Naruto didn't react loudly. Didn't jump. Didn't panic. Strong. Yeah. Stronger than you. Keijuki paused. Then. Right now. Yeah. Naruto leaned back slightly. Looking up at the sky. Then we just have to get you stronger. No grand speech. That was it. No long encouragement. No dramatic declaration. Just. A simple answer. Keijuki blinked. That's your solution. Naruto shrugged again. Pretty much. Keijuki shook his head slowly. You make things sound easy. Naruto smiled. They're not. A pause. But worrying too much doesn't help either. A different kind of strength. Keijuki looked at him. Really looked. This wasn't the loud, reckless kid anymore. This was someone who had faced loss. Pain. Responsibility. And kept moving anyway. You're not afraid? Keijuki asked. Naruto thought for a moment. I am. A bit. But I don't stop because of it. Keijuki's chest tightened slightly. That answer hit deeper than any attack earlier. Standing again. Keijuki pushed himself up slowly. His body protested. But held. Naruto stood too. Watching. I can't stay down, Keijuki said quietly. Not determination. Not pride. Just fact. Naruto nodded. Good. What comes next? Keijuki looked at his hand again. No flame this time. Just skin. I need to stabilize this. Naruto crossed his arms. Your fire thing. Not just that. Keijuki's gaze sharpened. The way I feel attacks before they happen. Naruto grinned. Oh yeah, that was cool. Keijuki exhaled. It's not reliable. Then train it. Simple, again. Keijuki almost laughed. You really don't complicate things, do you? Naruto shrugged. Works for me. A new direction. Keijuki turned toward the edge of the clearing. The forest beyond. Dark. Quiet. I can't just rely on power anymore. A pause. I need control. Not restraint. Not suppression. Understanding. Unseen movement. Far beyond them. Hidden. Watching. A different presence stirred. Not the masked figure from before. Something else. So he survived, a voice whispered. Cold. Interested. Good. Back in the clearing. Naruto stretched slightly. So, you gonna collapse again, or we heading back? Keijuki smirked faintly. I'll walk. They moved together. Not as close allies. Not yet. But no longer strangers either. Morning in Konoha. The village didn't change. Not really. People still opened shops at the same hour. Children still ran through the streets. Voices still filled the air with ordinary life. And yet, Keijuki noticed everything differently now. He walked through the main street slowly. Not because he was tired, but because he was observing. This is what I almost lost, he thought. Normalcy. Stability. A place that didn't burn or break every time power clashed. A vendor called out nearby. Fresh dango. Keijuki paused briefly. Not for the food, but for the sound. The intent behind it. Simple. Clear. No hostility. No distortion. So this is what normal feels like, he murmured. Living among people. He sat on a bench near a small open area. Watching. Listening. Not training. Not fighting. Just being present. Children argued over a game. A Shinobi passed by, half asleep from night duty. Two civilians laughed over something trivial. Keijuki leaned back slightly. This world has a rhythm. Not chaotic. Not random. Structured. Flowing. And for the first time, he wasn't trying to force himself into it. He was trying to understand it. Memory vs reality. Pain's attack already happened, he thought. Nagato's sacrifice. Naruto being recognized. That meant the timeline had shifted into a fragile piece. Next major events. Keijuki's eyes narrowed slightly. The 5-Kich Summit. Sajuke's descent. The war. Madara, and beyond. Too many variables. Especially now. Because of him. I already changed something. That masked figure. That unknown system. It wasn't part of the original story. So I can't rely on knowledge alone anymore. A different kind of training. Keijuki stood up slowly. He didn't head to the usual training grounds. Didn't isolate himself in the forest. Instead, he moved to a quieter part of the village. A rooftop. Not hidden. Just undisturbed. He sat cross-legged. Closed his eyes. Haki. A concept from another world. Not chakra. Not ninjutsu. Will. Understanding the difference. Chakra is energy you mold. Fire is something I become. A pause. But Haki. His breathing slowed. Is something you assert. Observation, Haki, first step. He didn't try to sense everything. Didn't reach outward. Didn't search. He waited. Like before. But calmer. Less forced. A presence passed below the rooftop. A Shinobi. Keijuki didn't see him. But he knew. Faint. Still incomplete. Still unstable. But clearer than yesterday. Filtering the world. Noise tried to overwhelm him again. Voices. Movement. Wind. Keijuki exhaled slowly. Focus on intent. Not footsteps. Not sound. Intent. A moment later. A sharp flicker. Someone jumping between rooftops nearby. Keijuki's eyes opened slightly. There. This time. No confusion. Small victory. He smiled faintly. So it's trainable. Not instant. Not overwhelming. But growing. Armament Haki, the harder path. Keijuki looked at his hand. This is the real problem. Fire was already powerful, but unstable. If he added something like armament, Bisashoku, something that solidifies will into defense and offense, I might stabilize my flame form. But there was an issue. I don't know how to start. Experimentation begins. He clenched his fist. Focused. Not on flame. Not on chakra. Just presence. I am here. A strange thought. Simple. But firm. He held it. Nothing happened. Again. He repeated it. Not louder. Not stronger. Just more certain. A faint tension formed in his arm. Not visible. Not dramatic. But real. Keijuki's eyes widened slightly. That's new. The first trace. It wasn't coating. Not hardening. Just a subtle resistance. Like his skin had weight behind it. This is it. Not power. Not force. Foundation. Interruption. You look weird. Keijuki blinked. Turned. Naruto stood a few steps away, holding a drink. How long have you been there? Naruto shrugged. Long enough to see you staring at your hand like it owes you money. Keijuki sighed lightly. I'm training. Naruto grinned. Yeah, I figured. Casual conversation. Naruto sat down beside him. You've been quiet lately. Keijuki nodded. Thinking. About what? A pause. The future. Naruto tilted his head. That sounds serious. Keijuki looked out over the village. Things are going to get worse. Naruto didn't laugh. Didn't dismiss it. Yeah, he said simply. Trust, slowly building. Keijuki glanced at him. You believe that without asking why? Naruto shrugged. You're not the type to say stuff like that for no reason. Keijuki let out a quiet breath. There's going to be a war. Naruto went still for a moment. Then we'll stop it. Different mindsets. Keijuki shook his head slightly. It's not that simple. Naruto smiled faintly. It never is. A pause. But we still try. A grounded resolve. Keijuki looked at his hand again. Then I need to be ready. Not for survival. Not just for himself. But for everything that was coming. Blending worlds. Haki, chakra, flame. He murmured it quietly. Different systems. But they don't have to conflict. They could complement each other. Chakra structure. Flame transformation. Haki assertion. If I combine them right. Not explosively. Not forcefully. But gradually. Slow progress. Keijuki clenched his fist again. Focused. That faint weight returned. Slightly stronger. Not visible. Not dramatic. But undeniable. Naruto watched him. You're getting somewhere. Keijuki nodded. Slowly. Naruto grinned. That's fine. Peace before the storm. The sun dipped lower. The village glowed softly in the evening light. For now. There were no enemies. No distortions. No impossible fights. Just two Shinobi sitting on a rooftop. One thinking too far ahead. One living in the moment. Keijuki's quiet thought. I can't stop everything. A pause. But I can change how it ends. And this time. He didn't feel overwhelmed saying it. Just prepared to try. Keijuki stopped guessing. Stopped improvising blindly. If he wanted to survive what was coming, he needed structure. So he built one. Sitting on the rooftop again, he spoke quietly to himself. 3 foundations. His fingers lifted one by one. Observation. Perceive intent before action. Armament. Reinforce body with will. Flow, Maki, dot. Control internal energy without conflict. He exhaled. And then, movement. Roku Shiki concept adaptation. Keijuki stood. Feet grounded. In that world, they trained the body to extreme levels. Techniques based not on chakra, but physical mastery. But here, I can merge it. He crouched slightly. Focused on his legs. Technique prototype, flame steps through variant. Instead of explosive fire. He compressed chakra into his muscles. Then, a short burst. Crack. He vanished. and reappeared a few meters ahead. Keijuki blinked. That felt different. Not chaotic. Not destructive. Clean. Understanding through, adapted. Rapid muscle contraction and chakra acceleration. He looked down at his legs. Less flashy than flame step. But more efficient. He repeated it. Again. Again. Each step smoother. Less strain. This could replace my basic movement. Second concept, Jeppo, air step. Keijuki looked upward. Mid-air movement. He jumped. At the peak. He kicked downward. A small burst of chakra and compressed air. Thump. He paused in mid-air. For a split second. Then fell. Not enough. Again. Jump. Kick. Focus. This time. He stayed up slightly longer. So it's possible. Observation training, stage 2. Keijuki landed. Closed his eyes again. This time. He didn't sit still. He moved. Slowly walking across the rooftop. If I can sense intent while moving. A presence flickered nearby. He turned instantly. Naruto again. Holding food. You're stalking me now, Keijuki said. Naruto grinned. Or you're just easy to find. Keijuki shook his head. I sensed you earlier this time. Naruto raised a brow. Oh. That thing again. Keijuki nodded. It's getting clearer. Training with distraction. Naruto sat down. So what's the plan? Keijuki thought for a moment. Attack me. Naruto blinked. Seriously. Without warning. Naruto grinned slowly. Okay. Sensing under pressure. Keijuki closed his eyes. Didn't brace. Didn't prepare. He waited. Seconds passed. Then. A spike. Sharp. Keijuki moved instantly. Sidestep. Naruto's punch passed by his shoulder. Nice, Naruto said. Again. This time. A kick. Keijuki reacted. But slightly late. Impact grazed him. Still rough, Keijuki muttered. Naruto shrugged. Better than before. Keijuki held up his arm. Focused. That same internal weight gathered again. I need to make this visible. He concentrated harder. Not forcing. Not pushing. Just reinforcing. His forearm darkened. Slightly. Not full black coating. Not solid. But noticeable. Naruto leaned closer. Whoa. Keijuki exhaled slowly. So this is the next stage. Interruption from authority. Interesting. Both turned. A presence stood behind them. Calm. Heavy. Unavoidable. Tsunade. The Hokage arrives. Her eyes scanned the rooftop. Then Keijuki's arm. Then the faint distortion of his chakra. That's not standard reinforcement, she said. Keijuki straightened slightly. No. She stepped closer. Arms crossed. Explain. Under Tsunade's gaze. Keijuki hesitated briefly. Not out of fear. But calculation. It's a different way of using will. Tsunade raised a brow. Will. Keijuki nodded. Instead of molding chakra outward. I'm reinforcing myself internally. She studied him for a long moment. Show me. Demonstration. Keijuki didn't argue. He focused again. Arm steady. That faint coating returned. Stronger this time. Tsunade stepped forward. And punched his arm. Not full force. But enough. Keijuki felt it. The impact. But reduced. Stabilized. Tsunade muttered. Medical insight. You're increasing structural integrity. She tapped his arm lightly. Not just chakra output. Keijuki blinked slightly. So that's what it is. Tsunade smirked faintly. Did you not know what you were doing? Not exactly. Naruto laughed. Sounds like you. Tsunade's interest. She turned slightly. Thinking. This could be useful. A pause. But dangerous if done wrong. Keijuki nodded. I already felt that. Her eyes sharpened slightly. You pushed too far recently. Keijuki didn't answer. But that silence was enough. Closer interaction. Tsunade stepped closer. Not threatening. But firm. Her hand grabbed his wrist. Keijuki tensed slightly. Relax, she said. Her chakra flowed. Careful. Precise. She was analyzing him. Your system is unstable, she said quietly. You're layering different energy behaviors. Keijuki exhaled slowly. I know. She looked up at him. Then don't rush it. Unexpected concern. Her tone wasn't harsh. Not dismissive. Just direct. You're not invincible, she added. Keijuki met her gaze. I figured that out recently. A brief pause. Then, a small smirk from Tsunade. Good. New training direction. She released his wrist. If you're going to develop this, you'll do it properly. Naruto perked up. Does that mean? Yes, Tsunade said. You'll train under supervision. Keijuki blinked slightly. You're allowing it. She crossed her arms again. I'm not letting an unstable technique grow unchecked in my village. A beat. And I'm curious. A subtle shift. Keijuki nodded slowly. Then I'll refine it. Tsunade turned to leave. Then paused. And Keijuki. He looked up. Don't rely only on power. A brief glance. Control is what keeps people alive. Then she left. Aftermath. Naruto leaned back. You got the Hokage interested. Keijuki exhaled slowly. That might be more dangerous than the enemy. Naruto laughed. Yeah, probably. Next steps. Keijuki looked at his hand again. Observation, growing. Armament, forming. Movement, stabilizing. Now I build it step by step. Not rushing. Not forcing. This time, he would grow correctly. A different kind of training ground. Keijuki expected isolation. A forest. A remote field. Instead, he found himself standing inside a reinforced training hall used by high-level Shinobi. Thick walls. Ceiling tags. Medical support nearby. You're serious about this, he muttered. From behind. Of course I am. Tsunade entered, sleeves slightly rolled, presence heavy but controlled. Behind her. Sakura. We're not letting you blow yourself apart, experimenting, Sakura added, arms crossed. Keijuki exhaled lightly. Fair. Assessment first. Tsunade didn't waste time. Show me everything. No explanation. No warm-up. Just demonstration. Keijuki nodded. Full system display. He started simple. Movement, through variant. A sharp step. He vanished. Reappeared across the room. Cleaner than before. Tsunade's eyes tracked him perfectly. Good muscle chakra synchronization. Second, observation. Keijuki closed his eyes. Sakura moved first. A quick dash. Keijuki shifted instantly. Dodging without seeing. He reacted before I committed fully, Sakura noted. Tsunade nodded slightly. Predictive perception. Third, armament, early stage. Keijuki raised his arm. Focused. That faint darkening returned. More stable than yesterday. Still not full coating. But denser. Tsunade stepped forward. Struck it. Thud. Keijuki held position. Didn't slide. Improved, she said. The problem revealed. Then. Keijuki's arm trembled. The coating flickered. Collapsed. He exhaled sharply. Still unstable under sustained force. Tsunade nodded. Your foundation isn't fully built yet. She turned slightly. So we fix that first. Roku Shiki integration begins. Tsunade pointed at the ground. Your body needs to handle the load before your will reinforces it. Keijuki listened carefully. So we train both together. Technique 1, Tekai, Iron Body, Adaptation. Sakura stepped forward. I'll demonstrate the idea. She hardened her stance. Chakra reinforcing her muscles. Basic version, she said. Tsunade shook her head. Too chakra reliant. She looked at Keijuki. You'll do it differently. Tekai concept, Keijuki version. No external reinforcement, Tsunade explained. Just compression. Keijuki frowned slightly. Compress what? Everything. Execution attempt. Keijuki stood still. Focused inward. Muscles tightened. Bones aligned. Breathing slowed. Instead of expanding power, he compressed it. Tsunade stepped forward and struck his torso. Thud. Keijuki didn't move. But pain spread internally. He winced slightly. That hurt. Tsunade smirked faintly. Good. Understanding Tekai. You didn't block the damage, she said. You contained it. Keijuki's eyes sharpened. So it's not defense. It's resistance. Link to armament. Now combine that with your will coating, Tsunade added. Keijuki inhaled slowly. Tried again. Compression first. Then that faint armament layer. This time it held longer. Not perfect, but improved. They support each other, he realized. Technique 2, Shugen, finger strike. Sakura stepped forward again. This one you'll like. She concentrated chakra into her finger and struck a training post. Crack. A clean puncture. Keijuki observed closely. Focused force. Minimal movement. He raised his hand. But instead of chakra, he focused will. Condensed. Sharp. He struck. Thunk. No puncture. But a deep dent formed. Not bad, Sakura said. Keijuki frowned slightly. Not enough. Adjustment. He tried again. This time he added a small burst of flame. Not outward, but internal acceleration. Strike. Crack. The surface split. Keijuki blinked. That worked. Technique 3, Rankyaku, /. Tsunade gestured. Last one for today. Keijuki nodded. He stepped back. Lifted his leg. Compressed motion, then release. He kicked. A faint blade of pressure shot forward. Weak, but visible. It struck the wall, leaving a shallow mark. So even ranged attacks are possible, he muttered. Training pause. Tsunade raised her hand. That's enough. Keijuki lowered his stance. Breathing steady, but strained. Medical check. Sakura stepped closer. Hold still. Her chakra flowed. Scanning. Minor strain, internal stress. She glanced at Tsunade. But no structural damage. Tsunade nodded. Good. A rare moment of ease. Keijuki sat down. This is slower than I expected. Tsunade crossed her arms. Good. He looked up. Good. She smirked slightly. Fast growth gets people killed. Subtle chemistry. Keijuki held her gaze for a moment. You've seen that happen. A brief silence. Too many times, Tsunade replied. Not heavy, but real. Keijuki nodded slowly. Then I'll do it right. Sakura's curiosity. Sakura crouched nearby. Your system is weird. Keijuki smirked faintly. That's one way to put it. But it's interesting, she added. A pause. It doesn't fight chakra, it layers over it. Keijuki blinked slightly. That's exactly what I was aiming for. Recognition. Tsunade looked at both of them. Then you might actually make this work. A new routine. Keijuki stood again. Observation in the morning. Body compression and movement midday. Armament at night. Tsunade nodded. Balanced. Final words for the day. As she turned to leave, she glanced back briefly. Don't skip rest. Keijuki smirked faintly. Yes, Hokage. Sakura rolled her eyes. He's going to skip it. Naruto, from outside the door. Yeah, he totally is. Keijuki sighed. I'm surrounded. Routine becomes identity. Days passed. Then weeks. Keijuki stopped counting. Not because he didn't care, but because time no longer felt like something chasing him. It felt like something he was building inside of. Morning. Observation. Midday. Body and Roku Shiki. Night. Armament. No shortcuts. No explosive leaps. Just repetition. And for the first time, progress felt real. Morning, seeing without eyes. Keijuki stood in the open training field. Eyes closed. Wind brushing lightly against his face. Filter the noise. Children in the distance. A dog barking. Leaves shifting. All irrelevant. He exhaled. Intent only. A flicker. Sharp. Behind him. He moved instantly. A hand stopped inches from his back. You're getting better. Keijuki opened his eyes. Kakashi stood there, hand raised casually. You didn't even mask your presence, Keijuki said. Kakashi smiled lazily. And you still caught it. Observation growth. It's clearer now, Keijuki admitted. Not perfect, but faster. Kakashi nodded. You're not sensing chakra. No. You're sensing decisions. Keijuki paused. That's accurate. A teacher without teaching. Kakashi walked past him. Hands in pockets. Don't over-rely on it. Keijuki raised a brow. Why? Because people lie. A pause. Even with their intent. Keijuki's expression sharpened slightly. So it can be deceived. Kakashi didn't turn back. Everything can. Midday, breaking the body, correctly. The training hall again. This time. No introduction. No explanation. Just movement. Through, refined. Keijuki stepped. Crack. Gone. Reappeared behind a target. Turned. Moved again. No wasted motion. No strain. Clean, Sakura noted from the side. Tsunade watched silently. He's not forcing speed anymore, she said. He's aligning with it. Jeppo, stability achieved. Keijuki leapt. Midair. He kicked downward. Thump. Then again. Thump. Then again. He didn't fall. He stood. In the air. For 3 seconds. Before landing lightly. You're basically flying now, Naruto said from the doorway. Not quite, Keijuki replied. But close enough. Tekai and armament, fusion attempt. Keijuki stood still. Compression. Internal. Then. Armament. That faint darkening appeared. But this time. It didn't flicker. It spread. Slowly. From forearm. To hand. Darker. Heavier. Naruto leaned forward. That's new. First true hardening. Keijuki clenched his fist. The coating deepened. Not just shadow. Black. Not full coverage. Not complete. But undeniable. There it is, Keijuki whispered. Impact test. Tsunade stepped forward. No warning. Punch. Boom. Keijuki didn't move. Not even a step. The ground beneath him cracked. But his body held. Silence. Then. A small smirk from Tsunade. That's real. Aftershock. Keijuki exhaled slowly. The coating faded. His arm trembled slightly. Still limited duration. Tsunade nodded. But stable. Evening, alone again. The rooftop. Same place. Same sky. Keijuki sat quietly. Hand resting on his knee. He activated it again. The black coating returned. Shorter this time. But smoother. So this is armament. Not overwhelming. Not explosive. Just. Absolute certainty. Understanding the feeling. It's not power. He looked at his hand. It's conviction. The coating faded. I decide that this holds. And it does. Naruto joins again. You're talking to your hand again. Keijuki didn't look back. It listens. Naruto laughed. Yeah, sure. He sat beside him. You've changed. Keijuki glanced at him. How? Naruto thought for a moment. You're calmer. A pause. But heavier. A subtle truth. Keijuki looked forward again. I know what's coming. Naruto didn't ask what. Then we get ready. Future planning. Keijuki's eyes narrowed slightly. There's going to be a meeting. Naruto blinked. Meeting. The Kage. A pause. And things will start breaking after that. Naruto leaned back. Then we'll be there when it does. Trust grows quietly. Keijuki didn't argue. Didn't correct. Yeah. Because this time. He wasn't alone in preparing. Far away, a ripple begins. Unseen. Unfelt. The same distortion from before. Shifted again. But it didn't move toward Keijuki. Not yet. He's stabilizing, a voice said. Another replied. Then send someone else. Back in Konoha. Keijuki stood. Tomorrow. Naruto looked up. Yeah. Keijuki smirked faintly. We train harder. Naruto grinned. Finally. Keijuki knew something was different the moment the messenger arrived. Not a Juanin. Not a Jonin. An Angyu. Masked. Silent. Watching. The Hokage requests your presence. No explanation. Keijuki stood slowly. Now. A simple nod. He followed. The Hokage's office, a different atmosphere. When Keijuki entered, Tsunade wasn't relaxed. Not annoyed. Not casual. She was serious. Shitsune stood beside her. Two Angyu shadows lingered in the corners. Close the door, Tsunade said. Keijuki did. Silence settled. You've progressed faster than expected, she began. Keijuki didn't respond. He already knew. This wasn't praise. So now I need to know something. Her eyes locked onto his. Are you controllable? The room went still. A test, not a question. Keijuki didn't react emotionally. Didn't get defensive. You want proof? Tsunade nodded. I want certainty. A pause. So I'm assigning you a mission. The mission. Not escort. Not patrol. An Angyu-level infiltration and elimination. Keijuki blinked slightly. You're serious? Completely. Shitsune stepped forward, handing him a scroll. Target, Rogue Shinobi group operating near the border. Unknown abilities. No survivors required. Keijuki scanned it quickly. Solo. Yes. A pause. And monitored. The real purpose. Keijuki looked up. This isn't about the target. Tsunade didn't deny it. It's about you. Condition. One more thing, Tsunade added. Keijuki waited. Don't hold back. That caught his attention. Departure. Night. Keijuki stood at the village gate. No Naruto. No Sakura. Only shadows watching from afar. So this is the test. He stepped forward. And vanished. The battlefield, forest of silence. Hours later. Deep forest. Keijuki landed silently on a branch. Observation spread outward. 3. No. 5 presences. Hidden well. Not bad, he muttered. First engagement. He moved. Through. Appeared behind one. Shigan. Thud. The body dropped instantly. No noise. No wasted motion. They react fast. Enemy. Too late. Keijuki moved again. Rankyaku. A slicing arc tore through 2 trees. And the Shinobi behind them. Fire enters. The remaining enemies regrouped. Hand signs. Water style. Keijuki exhaled lightly. Bad matchup. He stepped forward. Flames erupted. Not explosive. Controlled. A stream. Like a flowing body. Fire fist. The attack collided. Steam exploded. Visibility vanished. The shift. And then. Something strange happened. Mid-combat. Mid-movement. Keijuki felt it. A pull. Not chakra. Not will. Something deeper. Like. A choice. The voice without words. Not a sound. Not a thought. But a question. What do you want to become? Keijuki froze for half a second. In battle. That was dangerous. An enemy blade cut toward him. Instinctive answer. Keijuki didn't think. Didn't analyze. He responded. Something faster. The world changes. His body. Shifted. The flames. Vanished. Completely. Replaced by. Something else. Light. Not chakra. Not fire. Speed. New power awakens. The blade. Never touched him. Because Keijuki was already gone. Not through. Not movement. Transformation. He reappeared behind the attacker. What? Keijuki moved his hand. And a kick followed. So fast. It created a shockwave. Boom. The enemy slammed into the ground. Unconscious instantly. Silence returns. The forest stilled. Keijuki stood alone. Breathing steady. But confused. What was that? He looked at his hand. No flames. No heat. Only residual energy. Realization begins. That wasn't the flame fruit. His eyes narrowed. It changed. A pause. I changed it. Limitation revealed. He tried to summon fire again. Nothing happened. Can't use both. A deeper breath. So only one at a time. Understanding the system. It's not just power. He looked forward. It's selection. Observers confirm. Far above. Hidden. And you watched. Did you see that? He switched abilities. That's not a jutsu. Report to Lady Tsunade immediately. Return to Konoha. Dawn. Keijuki stood once again before Tsunade. Silent room. Heavier. Mission complete, he said. Tsunade didn't respond immediately. What happened out there? No anger. No accusation. Just demand for truth. Keijuki's answer. I don't fully know. He looked at his hand. But I can change it. A pause. Not just fire. The weight of that truth. The room went still. Even the Anbu shifted. Explain, Tsunade said quietly. Keijuki exhaled. I think. A long pause. I can choose different powers. But only one at a time. Tsunade's reaction. Not shock. Not disbelief. Just concern. Then you just became something far more dangerous. The silence after truth. The room didn't explode with panic. It got quieter. Tsunade stood still, arms crossed, eyes locked on Keijuki, not with fear, but with calculation. Say that again, she said. Keijuki didn't hesitate. I can change my ability. A pause. But not use them at the same time. Behind her, one of the Anbu shifted slightly. That alone said enough. Immediate containment. Tsunade turned. Everyone out except him. Shitsune hesitated, then nodded and left with the Anbu. The door closed. Now it was just the two of them. No more pretending. You understand what this means? Tsunade asked. Keijuki leaned slightly against the wall. That I just became a problem. Correct. No sugarcoating. The real danger. This isn't a bloodline, Tsunade continued. It's not a jutsu. It's not even chakra-based. She stepped closer. It's choice-based power. Keijuki's eyes sharpened. And that scares you. It should scare you too. The first rule. Tsunade raised one finger. Rule 1, no one else finds out. Keijuki nodded. Including Naruto. A pause. Especially him. The second rule. Rule 2, you don't experiment alone anymore. Keijuki frowned slightly. You don't trust me. Tsunade didn't blink. I don't trust what you don't understand yet. Fair. The third rule. Rule 3, you define your limits before you expand them. Keijuki crossed his arms. Meaning. You figure out what breaks first, your body, your mind, or your control. A controlled test begins. Later that same day. Training chamber. Sealed. Reinforced. Present. Tsunade. Sakura. Keijuki. Sakura looked between them. This feels more serious than usual. It is, Tsunade replied. Experiment 1, reconfirm flame. Keijuki stepped forward. Baseline first. He focused. Flame returned instantly. Arm ignited. Stable. No delay, Sakura noted. Good, Tsunade said. Experiment 2, switch attempt. Keijuki inhaled slowly. Switching. The flame flickered. Then vanished. For a split second. Nothing. Then. A subtle distortion. His body felt lighter. Sharper. Speed again, he said quietly. Time gap identified. Sakura stepped forward. There's a delay. Keijuki nodded. About half a second. Tsunade's expression hardened. That's enough to die. Critical weakness found. Keijuki clenched his fist. So switching mid-fight is dangerous. Unless you predict the moment perfectly, Tsunade added. Experiment 3, forced reversion. Switch back, Tsunade ordered. Keijuki focused. Nothing happened. He frowned. Wait. Tried again. Still nothing. Cooldown discovered. I can't switch back immediately. Sakura blinked. Cooldown. Keijuki nodded slowly. Yeah. That's worse than I thought, Tsunade muttered. System understanding begins. Keijuki exhaled. So the rules are. He raised a finger. One ability at a time. Second finger. 2 switching has delay. Third. 3 switching has cooldown. He looked up. And I don't control the duration yet. Mental strain appears. Keijuki suddenly staggered slightly. Sakura reacted instantly. Hey. He steadied himself. Head feels heavy. Tsunade stepped closer. Hand on his shoulder. That's the real cost. Not the body, the mind. You're not just using power, she said. You're redefining yourself each time. Keijuki froze slightly. That's why it feels strange. You're forcing your identity to shift, Tsunade confirmed. Sakura's insight. Sakura's eyes widened slightly. That's why your chakra pattern changes too. Keijuki looked at her. You noticed that? It's subtle, she said. But it's there. Implication. Tsunade's voice lowered. If someone like Danza Shimura finds out. The sentence didn't need finishing. Keijuki's expression hardened. Then I don't let him. A dangerous confidence. Tsunade watched him carefully. Confidence is good. A pause. Overconfidence gets buried. Naruto's suspicion. Outside. Leaning against the wall. Naruto Uzumaki frowned. They've been in there too long. He scratched his head. Something's up. Back inside, final test. One last thing, Tsunade said. Keijuki looked up. Use your will. Haki and devil fruit interaction. Keijuki hesitated. Together. Try. Execution. He focused. Speed form active. Then. Armament. That faint black coating appeared. But. It flickered violently. Cracked. Then. Collapsed completely. Keijuki dropped to one knee. That doesn't work. Final rule established. Tsunade nodded. Different systems interfere. Sakura added quietly. You all need compatibility training. Conclusion of the session. Keijuki stood slowly. So I'm not broken. He looked at his hand. Just incomplete. Tsunade's decision. No more missions for now, Tsunade said. Keijuki frowned. What? You're not ready. A pause. But you will be. A new phase begins. As Keijuki walked out. Naruto straightened. Oi. Keijuki glanced at him. Yeah. Naruto stared for a second. You're hiding something. Silence. Keijuki smirked faintly. Aren't we all? Naruto frowned. I don't like that answer. Keijuki walked past him. Get stronger. Naruto blinked. What? Keijuki didn't stop. You all need it. The problem with choice. Keijuki didn't sleep much that night. Not from anxiety. From possibility. I can choose, he muttered, sitting on the rooftop. But I don't know what I'm choosing from. Fire made sense. Speed made sense. But now. He needed structure. In that world, there were categories. He closed his eyes. Logia. Piranha. Zoan. Different rules. Different risks. If I'm going to survive this world. His gaze sharpened. I need the right abilities, not just strong ones. Day 1, controlled selection. Back in the SEAL training chamber. Tsunade stood watching. Sakura Hirano ready with medical support. To date, Tsunade said, you don't fight. Keijuki raised a brow. Then what? You choose properly. First target, light. Keijuki inhaled slowly. Fast isn't enough. He focused deeper. I want absolute speed. The idea formed. Clear. Sharp. A name surfaced in his mind. Borsalino, Kizaru. Light. Activation, Pika Pika no Mi. The world. Bent. Keijuki's body dissolved into radiance. Not flame. Not chakra. Light. He disappeared. Not through. Not movement. Instant relocation. A flash. Across the room. Then back again. Sakura's eyes widened. That's not speed. Tsunade's voice lowered. That's teleportation level movement. Keijuki reformed slowly. Breathing heavier than expected. Too much. Drawback #1, control. Your body isn't built for that yet, Tsunade said. Keijuki nodded. It's not just fast. It's hard to exist like that. Drawback #2, mental lag. And your reaction time didn't match your movement, Sakura added. Keijuki frowned. So I'm faster than I can think. Dangerous. Conclusion. High potential, Tsunade said. High risk. Keijuki cancelled the form. Cooldown hit immediately. Not combat ready, he muttered. Second target, shock power. Keijuki sat for a moment. Thinking. I need something more stable. A new idea formed. Electricity. A godlike presence. Anal. Lightning. Activation, Goro no Mi. His body sparked. Electric arcs danced across his skin. Not explosive. Controlled. Keijuki lifted his hand. A bolt shot forward. Crack. The wall exploded. Sakura jumped. That's way stronger than your fire. Advantage, sensory boost. Keijuki froze. Wait. He closed his eyes. And suddenly, everything expanded. Heartbeats. Movement. Electrical signals. I can hear people, through electricity. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. Enhanced perception. Synergy with observation. Keijuki smirked slightly. This works better. Because it didn't replace his awareness. It amplified it. Drawback, output drain. The electricity flickered. Keijuki exhaled. Chakra drain increased. Sakura nodded. Your body is compensating. Third target, gravity. Keijuki hesitated this time. This one is dangerous. A memory surfaced. A man who bent the world itself. Isho, Fujitara. Gravity. Activation, Zushi no Mi. The air. Dropped. The room shook. Keijuki raised his hand. And everything. Pressed downward. Sakura dropped to one knee. Too heavy. Tsunade resisted, but barely. Stop. Keijuki immediately cancelled it. The pressure vanished. Immediate consequence. He staggered. Hard. That once, not ready. Tsunade exhaled sharply. Don't use that again without control. Pattern recognition. Keijuki sat down. Logia types are too unstable right now. He looked up. I need something simpler. Fourth target, rubber. He smirked slightly. This one's familiar. A name came easily. Monkey D. Luffy. Rubber. Activation, Gamu no Mi. His arms stretched. Effortless. No distortion. No overload. Sakura blinked. That's normal. Keijuki grinned. Finally. Advantages. No elemental instability. No overwhelming output. Full physical compatibility. He punched. Arm extended. Boom. Impact landed perfectly. Tsunade's observation. That one fits you. Keijuki nodded. Yeah. Hidden potential. But then. He stopped. Because he remembered something. This fruit isn't just rubber. He looked at his hand. It evolves. Tsunade narrowed her eyes. What do you mean? Keijuki smirked faintly. Later. System understanding complete, phase 1. Keijuki stood. So now I know. He raised his fingers. Light, fastest, hardest to control. Lightning, best sensory and power balance. Gravity, overwhelming, unusable for now. Rubber, safest, but hidden depth. Tsunade's final word. You're not collecting powers, she said. Keijuki looked at her. You're choosing who you are in each fight. A pause. Don't forget that. Outside, Naruto watching again. Naruto Uzumaki leaned against the wall. He's definitely hiding something big. He clenched his fist. Then I'll just get strong enough that it doesn't matter. Late afternoon. Training grounds, empty, quiet, waiting. Keijuki already knew. You've been following me for 3 days. Behind him. A familiar voice. You finally gonna explain? Naruto Uzumaki stepped forward, arms tense, eyes locked. No grin. No jokes. Just. Serious. Keijuki turned slowly. You don't need to know. Naruto's expression hardened. I do if it's about you getting stronger and not telling me why. Tension without anger. Keijuki sighed. This isn't about trust. Naruto stepped closer. Then what is it about? A pause. Keijuki looked straight at him. Survival. The line drawn. Naruto clenched his fist. Then show me. Keijuki didn't move. You won't like it. Naruto smirked slightly. Try me. The spar begins. No signal. No countdown. Naruto moved first. Fast. Keijuki reacted. Observation triggered. Shift. Dodged cleanly. You've gotten better, Naruto said. So have you. Naruto escalates. Shadow clones burst into existence. 10. 20. All rushing. Keijuki exhaled. Too many for base. Choice moment. Inside. That same question returned. What do you want to become? Keijuki's eyes sharpened. Something that can handle pressure. Activation, lightning. Electricity surged. Enel's power manifested. Lightning wrapped around Keijuki's body. His perception expanded instantly. Every clone. Every movement. Clear. Counterattack. Keijuki moved. Not teleport fast. But precise. Lightning-enhanced movement. Strikes landed. One by one. Clones dispelled rapidly. Naruto paused. That's new. Naruto gets serious. He closed his eyes briefly. Then opened them. Golden. Chakra flared outward. Dense. Wild. Then I'll match you. Ninetales chakra mode. The ground trembled. Naruto stood surrounded by blazing energy. The power of Kurama. Even from a distance. It felt overwhelming. Far beyond normal. A new presence arrives. On the edge of the field. Watching silently. Killer Bee leaned against a tree. Yo, this got serious real quick. He didn't interfere. Just observed. Clash begins. Naruto vanished. Appeared in front of Keijuki. Punch. Keijuki blocked. Armament flickered on. Boom. Shockwave exploded outward. Keijuki slid back. Feet carving into the ground. That's heavy, he muttered. Speed vs instinct. Naruto attacked again. Faster. Unpredictable. Keijuki's lightning perception tracked. Barely. He's not just fast. He reacts without thinking. Adaptation mid-fight. Keijuki inhaled sharply. Not enough. Second choice. What do you want to become? Something that won't break. Switch, rubber. Lightning vanished. His body shifted. Monkey D. Luffy's rubber ability took over. Naruto's next punch landed. Thud. Keijuki's body stretched. Absorbed. Then snapped back. Naruto blinked. What? New flow. Keijuki moved differently now. Less precise. More fluid. He countered. A stretched punch. Naruto blocked. Impact still hit. This one, Naruto muttered. Feels weird. Building pressure. They clashed. Back and forth. Naruto overwhelming in raw power. Keijuki adapting with form changes. But Keijuki's breathing grew heavier. Cooldown, still there. He couldn't switch again. Unseen threat. Then Keijuki froze. Just for a fraction. Observation spike. Not Naruto. Not Killer Bee. Something else. Far. Hidden. Watching. Cold. His eyes narrowed slightly. There's someone else. Naruto paused mid-step. What? Far away, watching. High above. Distorted space. A masked figure stood silently. Obito Uchiha. Interesting, he murmured. Back to the field. Keijuki didn't look up. Didn't expose it. But inside. His mind sharpened. So it starts now. Final exchange. Naruto rushed again. Keijuki met him. Rubber arm stretched. Naruto countered. Both strikes collided. Boom. Dust exploded outward. End of spa. Silence. Both stood still. Breathing heavy. But neither defeated. Aftermath. Naruto lowered his guard slightly. You're definitely hiding something. Keijuki looked at him. And you're getting stronger. A pause. Naruto smirked. Then keep up. Keijuki's realization. Keijuki glanced briefly. Not up. But through. I'm not just preparing for the war. His eyes hardened slightly. I'm already in it. Something that shouldn't be there. Night fell quietly over Konoha. Too quietly. Keijuki stood alone on the rooftop again. But this time, he wasn't thinking about training. He's still there. Not visible. Not detectable by normal means. But his observation had changed. It didn't just sense intent anymore. It sensed distortion. And something was bending space itself. Inside the Hokage office. This unit didn't wait for reports. You felt it too. Keijuki nodded. Not chakra. Not killing intent. A pause. Something worse. Shitsune looked uneasy. Are we under attack? This unit shook her head. No. Her eyes narrowed. We're being evaluated. The name that isn't said lightly. Keijuki spoke quietly. Masked, space distortion. He didn't need to finish. This unit's expression hardened. If that's who I think it is. She didn't say the name. But the weight was there. Mission assigned, again. You're going out, this unit said. Keijuki blinked slightly. Alone. No. She paused. But you'll act like you are. Objective. Track the distortion. Do not engage. Do not reveal your full ability. Keijuki exhaled slowly. So I'm bait. This unit met his gaze. Controlled bait. Naruto objects. The door slammed open. Naruto Uzumaki stepped in. Then I'm going to. This unit didn't even turn. No. Naruto clenched his fist. Why? Because you're not subtle, she replied flatly. Keijuki almost smirked. Naruto glared at him. Don't look so relaxed. Keijuki shrugged. I'm not. Departure, silent hunt. Midnight. Keijuki moved across rooftops. No chakra bursts. No flames. Just. Presence erased. Observation expanded outward. There. A flicker. Far beyond the village edge. He followed. Forest of still air. No wind. No insects. Too quiet. Keijuki stopped. This is wrong. Distortion appears. Space. Twisted. Not violently. Subtly. Like something stepping through reality. And then. A figure emerged. Mask. Spiral. Obito Uchiha. First contact. Silence. Then. You noticed me. Keijuki didn't move. You weren't hiding. A slight tilt of the mask. Correct. Pressure without killing intent. There was no hostility. No immediate threat. And that was worse. Conversation begins. You're not from this system, Obito said. Keijuki's eyes sharpened slightly. Neither are you. A pause. Then. A quiet chuckle. Interesting answer. Testing without fighting. Obito stepped forward. And vanished. Not speed. Intangibility. He reappeared behind Keijuki. Hand reaching. Keijuki reacts instantly. Observation flared. Keijuki shifted. Rubber form activated. The hand passed. Through. Both paused. Recognition. Phasing, Keijuki muttered. Adaptation, Obito replied. Second attempt. Keijuki switched. Lightning. Movement sharpened. He struck. But. Passed through. The gap. I can't hit him. Keijuki stepped back. So direct combat is useless. Obito's interest grows. You're analyzing mid-fight. Keijuki didn't respond. He was thinking. Third choice, light. What do you want to become? Untouchable. Light erupted. Borsalino, Kizaryu's power activated. Keijuki became a flash. Repositioned instantly. Avoiding Obito's grab completely. Moment of equality. For a brief second. Both existed outside normal interaction. One intangible. One light. Neither able to land a hit. Mutual understanding. They stopped. You can't touch me, Keijuki said. And you can't touch me, Obito replied. Silence. True purpose revealed. I didn't come to fight you, Obito said. Keijuki narrowed his eyes. Then why? A pause. To confirm something. The dangerous truth. You don't belong to this world. Keijuki's expression didn't change. And neither do your abilities. A long silence. The warning. People like you. Obito's voice lowered. Change outcomes. Keijuki finally spoke. Good. The reaction. A slight shift. We'll see. And then. He was gone. No trace. No distortion. Nothing. Aftermath, the weight of being seen. Keijuki stood still. Heart steady. But mind racing. He knows. Not everything. But enough. Return to Konoha. Tsunade was waiting. Report. Keijuki didn't sit. It's him. A pause. And he's not attacking. Tsunade frowned. Then what is he doing? Keijuki's eyes darkened slightly. Watching. Implication. Silence filled the room. Because that meant the war wasn't just coming. It was already being shaped. Final thought. Keijuki looked at his hand. Fire. Lightning. Light. Rubber. I need something more. Because now. He wasn't just preparing for enemies. He was preparing for someone who already understood him. Keijuki didn't sleep. Not because of fear. Because something didn't line up. He stood at the same forest clearing where it happened. Where space bent. Where the masked man spoke. He knew too much. That wasn't how it was supposed to go. From what Keijuki remembered, Obito Uchiha didn't act like that. He wasn't supposed to be curious. He wasn't supposed to observe first. He was supposed to move according to a plan. Someone else's plan. Madara Uchiha. Keijuki's eyes narrowed. So why did he act like he was thinking for himself? Decision, force an answer. Keijuki exhaled slowly. Then I'll ask him directly. Dangerous. Yes. Necessary. More. Calling the void. He didn't shout. Didn't flare chakra. He did something else. He focused. Observation, not outward. But targeted. You're watching. Silence. So come out. Nothing happened. For a moment. Then. Space twisted again. Right in front of him. Second meeting. The mask emerged. Still. Unshaken. Obito Uchiha. You called. Keijuki didn't hesitate this time. You're not acting like you should. A pause. Should. Obito repeated. Direct challenge. Keijuki stepped forward slightly. You weren't supposed to be like this. The air tightened. You weren't supposed to question things. Another step. You weren't supposed to know anything outside your role. The name drop. You were supposed to be following Madara Uchiha blindly. Silence. Heavy. A shift in tone. Obito didn't move. But something changed. You speak as if you've seen my life. Keijuki's eyes locked onto him. I have. Truth without explanation. No hesitation. No backing down. Then explain. Keijuki's gamble. You were crushed. Saved. Manipulated. Turned into something you didn't originally choose. The forest went completely still. The first crack. Obito's hand twitched. Just slightly. Continue. The breaking point. Keijuki's voice lowered. And everything you're doing. A pause. Is because you couldn't accept reality. Silence. Then. A laugh. Not loud. Not mocking. But. Hollow. Obito responds. So that's what you think I am. Keijuki didn't move. Isn't it? Unexpected answer. No. Keijuki blinked. Not the same Obito. You're wrong, Obito said quietly. A pause. Not completely. But enough. Keijuki's realization begins. You're not following the same path, Keijuki muttered. Correct. The truth revealed, partially. I was shown something. Keijuki's eyes sharpened instantly. Shown. Possibilities. The word hit differently. Something changed him. Before you appeared, Obito continued. Everything was predetermined. A pause. After you. Silence. It started to shift. The realization. Keijuki froze. Me. Yes. Ripple effect. Your existence. Obito tilted his head slightly. Is interfering. Bigger than expected. Keijuki exhaled slowly. So I didn't just reincarnate. His eyes narrowed. I changed the story. Mutual awareness. And now Obito said. I need to decide whether you're a threat. A pause. Or something more useful. Danger rises again. Keijuki smirked faintly. You won't control me. Calm response. I don't need to. Silence. The real enemy. You're already trying to control everything yourself. That landed. Keijuki's internal conflict. Because it was true. Planning. Choosing powers. Trying to shape outcomes. I'm trying to survive, Keijuki said. So am I. Unexpected parallel. For a brief moment. They weren't enemies. Just two people. Refusing to accept the world as it was. Final exchange. Next time we meet, Obito said. I won't just observe. Keijuki nodded. Good. But before leaving. One more thing, Keijuki added. Obito paused. If you really are Obito. A pause. Then prove it. Silence. How? Obito asked. The test. Keijuki's voice dropped slightly. Don't follow someone else's will. A long pause. Then. We'll see. And just like before. He vanished. Aftermath, the truth settles. Keijuki stood alone again. But now. He understood something crucial. He's not just a villain. A breath. He's adapting too. Back in Konoha. Tsunade listened carefully. He admitted it. Keijuki nodded. He's changing. Tsunade's expression darkened. That's worse. Final thought. Keijuki looked at his hand again. Then I need something that doesn't just fight. His eyes sharpened. Something that can counter inevitability. A world slightly off. The war had not started. Not yet. But to Obito Uchiha. Something already felt wrong. Not in the world. In himself. Kamue space, a place outside everything. Dark. Silent. Timeless. Obito stood alone within the void of Kamue. This place. Normally empty. But now. There it is again. A flicker. Not light. Not chakra. A memory. The first glitch. It wasn't his. A battlefield. Ash-covered sky. A man. Old. Watching. Madara Uchiha. But something was wrong. He wasn't speaking to Obito. He was speaking to someone else. The vision shattered. Obito reacts. That never happened. His voice echoed in the void. Because he knew his past. Every moment. Every manipulation. There were no gaps. So why am I seeing things that don't exist? The second vision, worse. This time. It came stronger. A voice. Cold. Ancient. You are merely a tool. Obito froze. That voice. It wasn't Madara. It was Black Zetsu. The truth that should be hidden. Obito's eyes widened slightly beneath the mask. Zetsu. That wasn't possible. Zetsu never spoke like that. Not to him. Not openly. Fragments of the future, or something else. More flashes. Madara collapsing. Zetsu emerging. A betrayal. No. Obito stepped back. That's not real. Conflict of reality. Because if it was, then everything he believed was wrong. The source of the change. Keijuki's words echoed. You weren't supposed to know anything outside your role. Obito clenched his fist. Outside my role. Realization begins. This isn't memory. A pause. This is information. But from where? Not the Sharingan. Not the Rinnegan. Something else. Something triggered. The moment Keijuki appeared. Obito's mind traced it back. The exact point. The shift. When he arrived. Everything began to change. Not just events. Awareness. Parallel awakening. He gained power. A pause. And I gained knowledge. Understanding the balance. The system is compensating. For Keijuki's existence. Something else adjusted. And Obito was chosen. Back in the real world. A shadow moved through the forest. Black Zetsu emerged silently. You've been quiet. Obito didn't turn. I've been thinking. Zetsu tilted slightly. About what? Testing the truth. Obito spoke carefully. About loyalty. A pause. And purpose. Zetsu's tone didn't change. Your purpose hasn't changed. The hidden trap. Hasn't it? Obito replied. Silence. A dangerous game begins. Because now. Obito was watching Zetsu. Not trusting. Not following. Evaluating. Zetsu doesn't know yet. Everything is proceeding as planned, Zetsu said. Obito almost laughed. Planned. Internal conflict. Because if the visions were true, then Zetsu wasn't an ally. Not even a tool. But something far worse. The seed of rebellion. I need confirmation, Obito thought. Before I act. Because acting too soon could destroy everything. Keijuki's role expands. That boy. Obito's gaze shifted slightly. He's not just interfering. A pause. He's exposing things. A new objective. Not elimination. Not capture. Observation. For now, Obito muttered. I watch him. Because if Keijuki continued, more truths might surface. Final thought, the cracking world. If this is really happening. Obito looked at his hand. Then even fate can be rewritten. And for the first time, that idea didn't belong to Keijuki alone. Morning in Konoha felt ordinary. Too ordinary. Vendors opened stalls. Children ran through the streets. Shinobi moved across rooftops in routine patrols. But inside the Hokage Tower, tension lingered. Tsunade stood by the window, arms crossed. He's coming, she said. Across from her. Keijuki didn't answer immediately. Because he felt it too. A distortion. Not violent. Not aggressive. But undeniable. The barrier reacts. Konoha's sensory barrier flickered. And you dropped from the shadows instantly. Weapons drawn. Masks called. Intruder detected. Stand down. Tsunade's voice cut through everything. Because she saw it. Right at the center of the room. Space twisted. The arrival. A spiral formed. And from it stepped a man in a mask. Obito Uchiha. No attack. No threat. Just presence. And you reaction. Blades pressed forward instantly. One move and I didn't come to fight. Calm. Controlled. Keijuki watches closely. Keijuki didn't move. But inside, everything sharpened. He really came. Not as an enemy. But as something far more dangerous. A variable. Tsunade steps forward. You've got 5 seconds before I tear you apart, Tsunade said coldly. No fear. No hesitation. Obito's answer. Black Zetsu will betray me. Silence. Absolute. Shockwave without impact. Even the Anbu froze. Because that wasn't something an enemy would say. Keijuki's eyes narrow. So you saw it too, Keijuki murmured. Obito's gaze shifted slightly toward him. Not so. A pause. Understood. Tsunade's patience ends. You think dropping nonsense like that buys you time, she snapped. Chakra fled. The room trembled. Keijuki intervenes. He's telling the truth. Everyone turned. All eyes on Keijuki. Explain, Tsunade demanded. Keijuki exhaled slowly. We don't have time for denial anymore. The first forbidden truth. The Akatsuki isn't the real threat. Silence deepens. What? One Angu muttered. Keijuki continues. They're just a step. A pause. Toward something bigger. The name spoken too early. Keijuki's voice dropped. Katsuya Zatsuki. The air changed. Even Obito stilled. Tsunade's reaction. I've never heard that name. Keijuki's explanation begins. Because she hasn't returned yet. A pause. But she will. The origin of chakra. Chakra itself. Keijuki's eyes hardened. Doesn't belong to this world. And you shifted uneasily. The next truth. It came from beings called the Zatsuki clan. Obito's confirmation. That aligns with what I've seen, Obito said quietly. Tsunade's eyes snapped toward him. You're backing him. I'm verifying him. Keijuki steps forward. They harvest worlds, consume chakra, and reset everything. A chilling realization. You're saying, Tsunade muttered. Everything we know is just a farm. Keijuki finished. Silence. Heavy. Naruto enters. The door slammed open. What's going on? Naruto Uzumaki. Golden chakra flickered faintly around him. Behind him, Killer Bee leaned casually against the frame. Yo, this feels serious. Naruto sees Obito. You. Chakra surged instantly. Ninetales' energy fled. Keijuki stops him. Wait. Naruto froze. Why? The turning point. Because if we fight now. Keijuki's voice was steady. We lose before the real enemy even arrives. Naruto's conflict. His fists clenched. I don't trust him. Keijuki's answer. You don't have to. A pause. Just listen. The future revealed. A war is coming. Bigger than anything before. And at the end of it. Keijuki looked at Naruto directly. You'll fight a god. Naruto blinks. A what? Obito finishes it. And we lose. Silence. Everything changes. Not fear. Not panic. But something deeper. Understanding. Tsunade's decision. If this is a lie. Her chakra surged slightly. You both die here. A pause. If it's true. She exhaled slowly. Then we prepare. A new alliance, temporary. Not trust. Not friendship. But necessity. Keijuki's next move. Then we start now. He looked at his hands. Because I'm not strong enough yet. Final scene, a broken future. Outside. Konoha continued like nothing changed. But inside the tower. The future of the world had just been rewritten. Not by war. But by truth spoken too early. The air felt heavier than usual. Not because of chakra. But expectation. Naruto Uzumaki stood across from Keijuki, golden chakra flickering faintly around him. Behind him. Killer Bee leaned against a tree, arms crossed, watching. You're saying we train together now? Naruto muttered. Keijuki nodded. We don't have the luxury of holding grudges. Naruto clicked his tongue. Doesn't mean I like it. Above them, watching. On a distant branch. Kakashi Hatake observed quietly. And further beyond. Hidden completely. Obito Uchiha watched as well. Not as an enemy. But as something uncertain. Keijuki's goal. Today isn't about winning, Keijuki said. It's about control. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Control of what? The problem. Keijuki looked at his hand. Power that doesn't belong here. A pause. And might not obey me. Naruto grinned slightly. Then I'll hit you until it does. Keijuki smirked faintly. Fair enough. Spar begins. No countdown. Naruto vanished. Fast. A Rasengan forming instantly. Keijuki didn't dodge. Observation haki. The world slowed. Not physically. But in perception. Left shoulder faint, real attack from below. Keijuki shifted slightly. The Rasengan missed by inches. Counter. Keijuki's hand hardened. Armament haki. He struck. Naruto blocked. But still slid back. That again, Naruto muttered. Escalation. Golden chakra surged. Ninetales chakra cloak ignited. Wind pressure exploded outward. Keijuki's thoughts. He's holding back. A pause. So am I. Time to test it. Keijuki exhaled slowly. Let's see. The shift begins. His heartbeat changed. Not faster. Different. Dum, dum, dum dum. Killer Bee frowned. Yo, you hear that? The sound. Not audible. But felt. Like rhythm in the air. Keijuki freezes. This is. His body felt lighter. Too light. The memory. From another world. A power that wasn't just strength. But freedom itself. Monkey D. Luffy. Gear 5. The awakening. Keijuki didn't force it. He let go. Transformation. His hair shifted. Not dramatically. But his presence changed completely. White aura. Loose. Unrestricted. Naruto stops. What is that? Keijuki smiled. Wide. Too wide. This. A small laugh escaped him. I don't think it's meant for this world. Reality warps slightly. The ground beneath his feet bounced. Like rubber. Kakashi's eye widened. That's not ninjutsu. Keijuki moves. Not fast. But unpredictable. He appeared in front of Naruto. Without a clear path. First hit. A simple punch. Naruto blocked. But his body stretched backward slightly. What the? Keijuki laughs. Right. Even he sounded surprised. The problem appears. This is bad. Because his thoughts were slipping. Not gone. But loser. Killer B notices. Yo, his vibe changed. Naruto attacks again. Multiple shadow clones rushed in. Keijuki didn't dodge. He grabbed one. And stretched it. Like rubber. Naruto's eyes widened. That's not possible. Keijuki responds. I know. He laughed again. The danger grows. Inside. Keijuki felt it. The pull. To stop thinking. To just play. Obito observes. This power. For the first time. Even he looked uncertain. It defies structure. Keijuki's internal struggle. Focus. His smile twitched. Don't lose it. Naruto gets serious. Okay, that's enough. Nine-Tails chakra surged fully. Collision. Rasengan vs Haki-coated fist. Impact. But instead of explosion, it bent. The force curved outward. Like reality itself refused to break. Silence after impact. Both stood still. Breathing. Keijuki ends it. That's enough. The white aura faded slowly. The rhythm stopped. Aftermath. Keijuki dropped to one knee. Sweat. Heavy breathing. Too unstable. Naruto walks over. What was that? Keijuki answers honestly. Something I'm not ready to use. A pause. But something we might need. Kakashi lands. That ability. He looked serious. It breaks rules. Keijuki nods. Exactly. Training ground, late afternoon. The ground was still scarred from earlier. Warped earth. Cracked stone. Residual chakra lingering in the air. Naruto Uzumaki stretched his shoulders. Okay, he muttered, that rubber thing was weird. From a nearby rock. Killer B nodded slowly. Yo, but now I wanna see the fire again. Above them. Kakashi had kept watch. And hidden, just beyond perception. Obito Uchiha observed silently. Keijuki's thought. BF5 is too unstable. He flexed his fingers. But this. A faint heat shimmered around his hand. This was my first. The origin of flame. From another world. The power once wielded by Porgus Dies. The flame fruit. Naruto watches closely. You're serious about this? Keijuki nodded. I need to know where the limit is. A pause. And what's beyond it? Fire ignites. No hand signs. No build-up. Just flame. It burst into existence around Keijuki's arm. Bright. Natural. Alive. Kakashi's analysis. No chakra weaving. His eye narrowed. It's just there. Heat rises. The temperature climbed instantly. Grass dried. Air shimmered. Naruto took a step back. This is way stronger than before. Keijuki pushes further. That's just the base. He inhaled slowly. What happens if I push it, like awakening? No reference point. In the world of One Piece, awakening changed everything. But here, there was no guide. No system. Just instinct. The attempt begins. Keijuki closed his eyes. Not forcing. But expanding. Feeling the flame. Not as a weapon. But as something else. It's not just fire. A pause. Its presence. The shift. The flames didn't grow. They spread. Not outward. But into the surroundings. Naruto reacts. Wait, why is the ground heating up? The earth beneath them glowed faintly red. Killer B steps back. Yo, this ain't normal fire. Awakening begins. Keijuki opened his eyes. They reflected flame. But not wildly. Controlled. Environment changes. Rocks began to smolder. Air thickened. Even light seemed distorted. Kakashi realizes first. He's not producing fire anymore. A pause. He's turning the environment into it. The concept of awakening. Not just becoming flame. But making everything obey that nature. Keijuki moves. He stepped forward. The ground beneath his feet melted slightly. Not destroyed. Transformed. Naruto's reaction. This feels like lava. Keijuki speaks quietly. Not lava. A pause. Sunfire. The true nature emerges. The flames intensified. Not hotter. Denser. More concentrated. Obito watches carefully. This is dangerous. Not just power. But influence. Keijuki raises his hand. A sphere formed. Not a fireball. Something heavier. Condensed flame. Name given. Entia. A sun held in one hand. Everyone freezes. Even Naruto didn't move. Because instinct screamed. Don't. Keijuki's realization. This is it. His hand trembled slightly. Awakening. The problem appears. But. The flames flickered. Unstable. Overload. The environment reacted violently. Cracks spread. Heat spiked uncontrollably. Kakashi shouts. Stop. You're losing control. Keijuki grits his teeth. Not yet. Internal conflict. BF5 was freedom. This was dominance. Too much power. If I push further. He felt it. The edge. Where control breaks. Naruto steps forward. That's enough. Golden chakra surged. Ready to interfere. Keijuki decides. No. A breath. I understand now. Release. The flame sphere vanished instantly. The heat dropped. The environment cooled. Aftermath. Silence. Heavy breathing. Keijuki stood still. It's incomplete. Kakashi lands beside him. What did you learn? Keijuki answers. Awakening isn't just more power. A pause. It's changing the rules around you. Naruto crosses his arms. And you almost burned everything. Keijuki smirks slightly. Almost. Killer Bee laughs. Yo, dude almost became the sun. Final realization. Keijuki looked at his hand again. BF5 changes me. This changes the world. A pause. I need balance. Hokage Tower, War Council. The room was silent. Not the calm kind. The kind before a storm. At the head of the table stood Tsunade. We don't have time anymore. Her voice carried weight. What we're dealing with goes beyond villages. Across from her. Keijuki stood, arms relaxed. But his mind was sharp. Because he already knew what this meant. You're calling them, he said. Tsunade nodded. All of them. The gathering of power. Within days. They came. Not as allies. Not as friends. But as leaders forced into the same room. The 5 Kage. The air itself felt heavy as they entered. A 4th Kage, raw power, impatience radiating. Gaara, calm, watching everything. Noki, old, but terrifyingly sharp. Mitomo, composed, dangerous beneath the surface. And Tsunade herself. Their eyes landed on one person. Keijuki. Immediate tension. This is the one, the Reikage scoffed. He doesn't look like much. Keijuki didn't react. Gaara speaks first. Looks are irrelevant. His gaze sharpened slightly. His chakra is abnormal. Noki narrows his eyes. Not chakra. A pause. Something else. Tsunade gets straight to it. He has abilities outside our system. Silence. And knowledge of what's coming. Reikage slams the table. Then prove it. No hesitation. If he's that important, he fights. Keijuki expected this. Figured. He stepped forward. All of you at once. Noki snorts. Don't get arrogant, boy. Gaara's condition. We test you one by one. A pause. To understand you. Keijuki nodded. Fair. Arena prepared. A massive training field outside Konoha. Barrier teams ready. And you on standby. Even Naruto Uzumaki and Killer Bee watched from the sidelines. Rule of the trial. Tsunade spoke clearly. No killing blows. A pause. But don't hold back. Keijuki's thought. Each kij. A slow breath. I match them. Not overpower. Not overwhelm. Adapt. First trial, Reikage. Lightning exploded across the field. A fourth Reikage vanished instantly and appeared in front of Keijuki. Punch already thrown. Impact. Keijuki crossed his arms. Armament haki. Boom. He slid back. Fast, Keijuki muttered. Reikage grins. Keep up if you can. Keijuki adapts. Then speed it is. Flames burst around him. Not wild. Controlled propulsion. Devil fruit match. Power of Porgus Diaz. Fire jets from his feet. He vanished. Speed clash. Lightning vs flame. Explosions echoed across the field. Result. Even. Reikage stopped first. Not bad. Second trial, Gora. Sand rose instantly. Gora didn't move. He didn't need to. Sand coffin. The ground swallowed Keijuki. Keijuki's response. Then I changed the battlefield. Flames spread. Awakening, partial. Sand turned to glass. Gora's eyes narrow. He's altering my control. Keijuki switches style. But defense. He closed his eyes briefly. Then. His body hardened further. Devil fruit shift. Not fire. Strength. Power reminiscent of Charlotte Katakuri. Observation haki activated fully. Result. Gora's sand couldn't touch him cleanly. Gora lowers his hand. Understood. Third trial, Noki. The old man floated upward. Let's see you handle this. Dust release forms. A glowing cube. Deadly. Keijuki's mind sharpens. This erases matter. A breath. Then I don't block. He moves. Not faster. But before the attack. Observation haki at peak. Devil fruit choice. Mobility. Freedom. For a moment. Beer 5 flickers. Reality bends slightly. He avoids completely. Noki's reaction. What was that? Keijuki stops it immediately. Too risky. Result. Noki exhales. Troublesome boy. Fourth trial, my. Steam and lava filled the field. Mitomo smiled slightly. Let's see how you handle heat. Keijuki smirks. You're testing the wrong thing. Flame vs lava. Fire erupted. But not aggressively. It absorbed. Redirected. Control over heat. Temperature isn't the same as dominance, Keijuki said. Result. My raised an eyebrow. Interesting. Final trial, Tsunade. Silence returned. Tsunade stepped forward. No aura. No flash. Just pressure. Keijuki knows. This one. A breath. Is the most dangerous. Clash. One punch. That's all it took. Keijuki blocked. But the ground shattered beneath him. He smiles slightly. Yeah. Devil fruit choice. Not speed. Not flame. Power. Raw durability. A body like steel. Inspired by the resilience of Kaido. Exchange continues. Punch after punch. No tricks. Just impact. Final stop. Tsunade stepped back. Enough. Aftermath, judgment. Silence filled the field. The Kij exchanged looks. Reikage speaks first. He adapts mid-fight. Noki adds. And changes abilities. My finishes. That's not normal. Gora's conclusion. He's not bound by a single system. Tsunade's decision. Which is exactly why we need him. Final decoration. Tsunade stepped forward. From this point on. A pause. Keijuki is a special class Shinobi under all nations. Shockwave of meaning. Not a rank. Not a title. A responsibility. Keijuki's thought. Now I can't move freely anymore. But this is necessary. Far away, watching. Black Zetsu observed silently. They're uniting. A pause. That accelerates everything. The village slept. But not everyone. At the edge of the forest, two figures stood under the open sky. One cloaked in shadow. One surrounded by quiet heat. Obito Uchiha. And Keijuki. The aftermath of Zetsu. It's done, Obito said. No hesitation. No doubt. Black Zetsu is gone. Keijuki exhaled slowly. Earlier than it was supposed to happen. A pause. Which means unknown future. Everything after this is uncertain, Obito finished. For once, they were on equal ground. Keijuki looks up. The moon hung quietly above them. Unchanged. But no longer just a satellite. That's where it starts, Keijuki said. The truth of the moon. The remnants of Kaguya Zatsuki's lineage. A pause. They're up there. Obito's eye narrows. And they've been watching. Why go now? Keijuki clenched his fist slightly. Because if we wait, they move first. Obito doesn't argue. That alone proved how much things had changed. Then we strike before they understand what we are. Preparation, a different kind of mission. Back in Konoha, Tsuna didn't like it. You're asking me to let you leave the planet. Keijuki didn't flinch. I'm asking you to stop an invasion before it starts. Naruto interrupts. Then I'm going to. Naruto Uzumaki stepped forward immediately. Keijuki shakes his head. Not this time. Why? Honest answer. Because if something goes wrong. A pause. You're the one who has to protect everyone here. Naruto froze. Killer Bee nods slightly. Yo, that's real talk. Tsunade's final condition. You come back alive. Her gaze hardened. Or I drag you back myself. Keijuki smirked faintly. I'll try. The ascent. Outside the village. No launch platform. No technology. Just power. Obito steps forward. Space began to twist. Kamui activating. This will get us close. Keijuki adds his own method. Flames ignited. But not for attack. For propulsion. Combined movement. Space distortion and flame acceleration. They vanished upward. Breaking through clouds. Through atmosphere. Into silence. The moon, first step. It wasn't empty. That was the first thing Keijuki noticed. There's structure here. Ruins. Ancient. Watching them. Obito speaks quietly. We're not alone. The presence appears. From the shadows. A figure emerged. Pale. Calm. Eyes unlike any human. A descendant of Kaguya Zatsuki. First contact. You came early. Keijuki's eyes sharpened instantly. So you were expecting something. The being tilts its head. Not you. A pause. Something else. Obito steps slightly forward. To find something else. The answer. A trigger. The word echoed strangely. Keijuki realizes. Black Zetsu. A pause. Wasn't just a pawn. The bigger system. He was a signal, Keijuki muttered. The Zatsuki descendant nods. Correct. Danger evolves. His destruction. A pause. Has already been noticed. Keijuki's expression darkens. By them. The name unspoken, but understood. The rest of the Zatsuki clan. Tension rises. Keijuki steps forward. Then we don't have time. Flames flickered slightly around him. Obito activates his eye. Space bent faintly. The descendant doesn't move. You misunderstand. A pause. You're already too late. Cliffhanger shift. The sky changes. Not the earth. But space itself. A distortion. Massive. Keijuki feels it first. That's not chakra. Obito's voice drops. It's something worse. Final line. Keijuki stared into the void above the moon. So this is what comes after breaking fate. A pause. Something even it couldn't predict. Keijuki walked slowly through the streets of old Konoha. Blending in. Watching. Planning. Final thought. This time. A pause. His eyes sharpened. I don't react to the future. I build it. Early days. Keijuki stayed. but only on the surface. He lived simply, small room, quiet routine, low presence. No missions. No academy. No recognition. Even when he crossed paths with familiar faces. Naruto Uzumaki laughing loudly in the street. Sasuke Uchiha walking alone, distant. Sakura Hirano chasing after both. He didn't stop. Didn't speak. Not yet. The discipline of restraint. Knowing the future was dangerous. Acting on it recklessly. Even more so. If I changed too much. Keijuki stared at his reflection one night. I might create something worse than what I escaped. So he waited. Not idly. But quietly. Training without witness. At night. Far from the village. He trained. Haki refined in silence. Observation stretched farther. Subtler. Armament grew denser. Without visible strain. And his devil fruit control. More precise. But something new began to surface. A different element calls. Not fire. Not chaos. Stillness. Cold. The decision to leave. One morning. Without announcement. Without farewell. Keijuki left Konoha. No dramatic exit. Just a man walking down a road. Time to grow where no one is looking. Land of water, the hidden mist. The air changed first. Heavier. Damp. The scent of salt and iron. Arrival at the borders. The territory of Kirigakyo. A village known for blood. And silence. Keijuki didn't enter the village directly. He stayed on the outskirts. Where law was weaker. But survival demanded strength. The birth of ice. First manifestation. It happened without warning. Keijuki stood near the shoreline. Watching waves crash. Water. He raised his hand. And the sea. Froze. Instantly. Keijuki's eyes narrowed. So it's this one now. The power of Kyuzen. The ice fruit. Training begins, isolation knock. Step 1, understanding the element. Ice wasn't like fire. It didn't expand wildly. It spread quietly. Controlled. Absolute. Keijuki walked across the frozen sea. Each step. Precise. This isn't just freezing. A pause. It's control over motion itself. Step 2, combat adaptation. He tested it against nature. Waves. Storms. Wind. Everything that moved. He slowed. Stopped. Or redirected. New technique forms. Ice Age. A single step. And an entire stretch of ocean froze outward. Not violently. But inevitably. Step 3, Haki integration. Armament Haki layered over ice. Made it unbreakable. Observation Haki. Allowed him to freeze attacks before they reached him. Result. Defense became effortless. Movement. Efficient. Energy. Minimal. Philosophy of ice. Unlike fire. Which dominated. Ice waited. Adapted. Controlled. Keijuki's realization. This suits this timeline better. A pause. Less noise. Encounter, missed Shinobi. One evening. They found him. Rogue missed Shinobi. Suspicious. You don't belong here. Keijuki didn't turn. Neither do you. Attack. Blades came fast. Silent. Professional. Keijuki's response. He didn't move much. Didn't need to. The ground beneath them. Froze. Their legs. Locked instantly. Panic. What? Keijuki turned slowly. Leave. His voice calm. Cold. One tries to resist. A jutsu formed. Water dragon rising. Keijuki lifts his hand. Too slow. The dragon froze midair. Shattered. They fled. No pride. No second attempt. Just survival. Reputation begins, unintended. Whispers spread. A man who freezes the sea. Doesn't speak. Doesn't chase. A name given by others. Not official. But remembered. The silent winter. Final scene, alone again. Keijuki stood on a frozen cliff. Looking out over endless ice. Internal reflection. Fire, freedom, ice. A pause. Different powers. His eyes sharpened slightly. Same goal. Final thought. When the time comes. The wind howled softly around him. I'll be ready. Keijuki paused one morning, staring at his reflection in still water. Smaller frame. Younger face. Right. He calculated carefully. Based on the timeline. Before the rise of Naruto Uzumaki's generation. Before the tragedy that shaped Nagato. I'm about 8 years old. But with the mind of a man who had already lived through war, death, and time itself. A choice, power hidden. Keijuki made a strict rule. No devil fruit. No flashy chakra techniques. Only fundamentals. Marine discipline is enough. The system of another world. Roku Shiki. 6 techniques. 6 paths to mastery. Training, the body of a child, the skill of a veteran. 1 through, instant movement. Keijuki stood in the forest. Small feet pressed into the ground. Again. Step. He vanished. Appeared 10 meters ahead. Not perfect. But fast enough. This body still lags behind. 2 Jeppo, walking the air. At night. He practiced above the sea cliffs. Step. 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 Air compressed beneath his feet. He hovered briefly. Before dropping. Still unstable. 3 Tekai, iron body. Blows landed against him. Logs swung from trees. Striking his arms, torso. Thud. No reaction. Not enough. He tightened his muscles further. Skin hardened. Breath slowed. Again. 4 Rankyaku, wind blade kicks. A sharp kick. Air split. A thin blade of compressed wind shot forward. Cutting through multiple trees. Clean. Silent. Efficient. 5 Shiken, finger pistol. A single thrust. His finger pierced stone. Not brute force. Precision. Control over strength matters more than strength itself. 6 Kamii, paper body. Leaves fell around him. He moved with them. Body bending. Flowing. Avoiding every touch. Like he didn't exist. This one. A small pause. Fits this life best. The role he chose. Keijuki wasn't a warrior here. Not yet. He became a normal child. In the villages near Rain Country. Torn land. War-touched. Close to where it all began. Where 3 children would one day change the world. Keijuki walks quietly. He carried water. Helped rebuild broken homes. Shared food when he could. No recognition. No attention. Just another orphan among many. Watching from the shadows. One evening. He finally saw them. 3 figures. Thin. Hungry. Alive. Nagato. Yoriko. Kanon. Keijuki didn't approach. Didn't speak. Just watched. So it begins. Silent intervention. Night raid. Bandits attacked. Fast. Brutal. The children didn't stand a chance. Before impact. A blur moved. Step. Through. Keijuki appeared behind the attackers. No words. No hesitation. Shigen. Thuk. Precise strikes. Non-lethal. But disabling. Rankyaku. Air blades cut weapons apart. Clean. Efficient. The children turned. What? But Keijuki was already gone. A ghost in their story. This became a pattern. Whenever danger came, it disappeared. Quietly. Cleanly. Nagato's suspicion. Someone is helping us. Kanon's observation. But they don't want to be seen. Yoriko's smile. Then we'll meet them someday. Keijuki, from afar. No. A soft whisper. You won't. Internal conflict. Every time he helped, the urge grew stronger. To speak. To guide. To change everything. But he remembered. Madara. Black Zetsu. Katsuya. The fragile chain of events. If I interfere too much. His eyes hardened slightly. The future may collapse into something worse. A child's life. During the day, he played the role. A quiet boy. Helping. Learning. Blending in. Even laughed sometimes. A normal life. He never truly had before. But at night, he became something else. Not fire. Not ice. Just motion. Discipline. Control. Final scene, watching the rain. Keijuki stood beneath falling rain, watching the three children walk together. Hungry, but smiling. His thoughts. You deserved a better world. A pause. So I'll make sure you at least survive long enough to choose your path. A subtle step forward. Not changing fate, but protecting its foundation. Rain country, a quiet observation. The rain never stopped. Keijuki stood beneath a broken wooden overhang, watching from a distance as the three children shared a small piece of bread. Laughter. Weak, but real. They're still holding on. He thought about their ages. He had been careful not to get too close. But observation didn't require proximity. Just attention. Nagato. Thin. Frail. Eyes too heavy for a child. Around 10, maybe 11. Yoriko. Louder. Brighter. Carrying more than he should. Same age, maybe a little older mentally. Kanon. Quiet. Observant. Careful. 10, maybe younger by a year. Keijuki's own age. He looked at his hands. Smaller. Still growing. 8. The gap. 2 to 3 years. Not much. But enough. His conclusion. They're ahead of me. Not in strength, but in experience. They had already suffered longer. Lost more. A strange feeling. For a moment, Keijuki hesitated. In another life, a faint thought surfaced. I would have walked up to them. Sat beside them. Shared food. Spoken like equals. But not now. That's not my role. His voice was calm. Resolved. Understanding the timeline. Keijuki mentally aligned everything. If they were around 10, then soon, very soon, he would arrive. Jiraiya. The man who would change their lives. The one who would teach them. Give them hope. And unknowingly set them on a path of tragedy. Keijuki's eyes narrowed slightly. This is the turning point. Should he interfere? The question had been growing louder. Every day. Every time he saw them struggle. If he steps in, they might grow stronger. Safer. But if he changes too much, no Ikatsuki. No pain. No future where the world unites against a common enemy. Keijuki's thought. Peace built too early. A pause. Often breaks harder later. So he chose balance. Not absence. Not interference. A shadow guardian. He wouldn't guide them. But he wouldn't let them die early either. Just enough. A small interaction, almost. That evening. Something changed. Kanon wandered slightly away from the group. Collecting scraps. Keijuki was nearby. Hidden. Watching. She slipped. Fell. A sharp edge cut her arm. Before she could react, a hand caught hers. Silence. For a brief moment. Their eyes met. Kanon blinked. You. Keijuki froze. Just for a second. Then he let go. Stepped back. Turned away. Be more careful. A quiet voice. Young. Calm. And then. He vanished. Kanon stood still. Confused. He's real. Back with the group. Yoriko. You okay? Nagato. Did you see them? Kanon nodded slowly. A boy. A pause. Younger than us. Nagato's eyes shifted slightly. So it wasn't just me. Keijuki, alone again. He stopped far away. Heart slightly unsettled. That was too close. But something lingered. A feeling he didn't expect. Connection. I can't afford that. Final reflection. Age difference. Distance. Fate. 3 children walking toward destiny. 1 child walking around it. Keijuki's final thought. I'm not part of their story. A pause. I'm the one making sure it happens. From a distant hill, Keijuki watched the moment history corrected itself. A tall figure stood before the 3 children. Calm. Weathered. Observant. Jiraiya had arrived. Keijuki didn't move. Didn't interfere. Good. The teacher they needed. The path that must not be broken. He turned away. My role here is over. Leaving the rain. No farewell. No trace. Keijuki disappeared quietly from the land of constant war. This time, he didn't head toward power. He chose safety. A small village, far from history. A nameless settlement between borders. No Shinobi influence. No war fronts. Just farmers. Workers. Ordinary people. Keijuki blended in easily. This is better. Life of an ordinary child. He carried water. Helped repair fences. Worked small jobs for food. Spoke little. Listened more. No one questioned him. In a world full of orphans. One more didn't matter. Daytime. Simple. Peaceful. Nighttime. Different. The experiment begins. Keijuki sat alone in a small clearing. Moonlight above. Silence around him. If I can choose. He raised his hand slowly. Then I need to understand the limits. Rule established. Only one devil fruit at a time. Switching requires full focus. Residual trays fade, but not instantly. Haki remains constant. So it's not infinite power. A pause. It's controlled versatility. First recall, fire returns. Heat flickered across his fingertips. The familiar presence of Porgus Dies. Flames danced. Warm. Wild. Keijuki watched them calmly. Still the easiest to control. He extinguished it. Second recall, ice reclaimed. Cold spread instantly. The stillness of Kuzen. Frost formed beneath his feet. Air slowed. This one stabilizes my mind. He let it fade. Third recall, light. A pause. This might be dangerous. He focused carefully. Then, light exploded outward. Blinding. Weightless. The power of Kizaru. Immediate result. He vanished. Reappeared dozens of meters away. Uncontrolled. Too fast. His breathing tightened slightly. My body can't keep up yet. He released it immediately. Fourth recall, tremor. Let's test raw force. His hand clenched. Air cracked. The ground beneath him shattered. The power of Whitebeard. Immediate reaction. Keijuki stopped. Quickly. No. Too destructive. Too loud. Too noticeable. He suppressed it instantly. Fifth recall, lightning. Speed without losing control. Electricity sparked. Sharp. Precise. The presence of Enel. Test. A small bolt fired. Struck a distant tree. Perfect accuracy. Minimal damage. Better. Understanding the system. Keijuki sat down slowly. It's not about having them all. A pause. It's about choosing the right one. Combat philosophy forming. Fire offense and pressure. Ice control and defense. Lightning speed and precision. Light extreme mobility, limited. Tremor last resort destruction. I don't need everything at once. I need mastery of each. Slow growth, days become months. Keijuki didn't rush. Didn't chase power recklessly. Each night, he tested one ability. Only one. Until it felt natural. Meanwhile, the world continued. Jiraiya trained the 3 children. Nadato awakened deeper power. Yoriko built ideals. Kanon refined her strength. Keijuki stayed out of it. As it should be. A rare moment of peace. One evening, he sat with villagers around a fire. Simple food. Quiet laughter. No war. No destiny. Just life. Keijuki's thought. This is what they were all fighting for. A pause. And what they never got to keep. Final scene, silent resolve. Back in the clearing. Keijuki stood still. Switching slowly between elements. Fire. Ice. Lightning. Each one cleaner than before. His eyes steady. When the time comes. A soft exhale. I won't hesitate. But for now. He chose something rare in that world. A slow life. Not weakness. Not avoidance. Preparation. The village slept. Keijuki sat alone beneath a tree, the wind barely stirring. I've only been using fragments. Fire. Ice. Lightning. Powerful. But incomplete. If I really have access. His eyes narrowed slightly. Then I need to remember everything. Not just abilities, but users. Because every devil fruit he manifested came with the imprint of its original wielder. The method, memory reconstruction. Keijuki closed his eyes, slowed his breathing. Observation haki turned inward. Not sensing the world, but his own mind. One piece. The vast ocean of memory surfaced. Fights. Abilities. Names. A lifetime of watching, remembering. Now becoming a weapon. Logia, the gods of nature. Fire, Porgus Dies. Already mastered. Emotion-driven. Explosive. Ice, Kuzan. Calm. Absolute control. Light, Kizaryu. Too fast. Still unstable. Lightning, Enel. Precision. Speed. Range. Magma, Akainu. Keijuki paused. This one. Heat beyond fire. Destruction beyond control. Not yet. Smoke, smoker. Evasion. Capture. Sand, crocodile. Dryness. Dehydration. Terrain control. Darkness, blackbeard. Keijuki's eyes opened briefly. Dangerous. Not just power. Something deeper. This might break balance. He set it aside. Paramsha, the infinite possibilities. Rubber, monkey D. Luffy. He smiled faintly. Beer 5. Freedom itself. Still incomplete. Trimmer, Whitebeard. Already tested. Too destructive. String, Don Quixote do Flamingo. Control. Manipulation. Invisible threads. Useful. Soul, Big Mom. Keijuki frowned. No. Too tied to will and domination. Operation, Trafalgar Law. Space manipulation. Precision beyond imagination. High potential. But requires extreme control. Barrier, Bartolomeo. Absolute defense. This fits. Shadow, Gecko Moria. Stealth. Amplification. Interesting for covert missions. Zoan, the path of transformation. Human model, awakened, Monkey D. Luffy. The truth behind the rubber. Not just elasticity. Freedom of form. Keijuki exhaled slowly. This is the endgame. Phoenix, Marco. Healing flames. Regeneration. This would solve survivability. Dragon, Kaido. Raw dominance. Too overwhelming for now. Understanding the cost. Keijuki opened his eyes. I can recall them. But not all at once. Limits becoming clear. Each fruit strains his body differently. Stronger fruits require stronger haki control. Some abilities clash with chakra flow. Switching too fast causes instability. So this isn't a blessing. A pause. It's a system. Testing combinations, sequential, not simultaneous. Scenario training. Enemy rush. Lightning for speed. Switch to ice for defense. Finish with fire. Flow matters more than power. Emotional realization. Keijuki leaned back, looking at the stars. I remember all of them. A faint smile. But I don't need to become them. Identity solidifies. Not Ace. Not Kuzan. Not Luffy. Just Keijuki. A Shinobi. Who borrowed power from another sea. Final scene, silent mastery. He stood once more. This time. Switching smoothly. Ice formed. Melted into flame. Crackled into lightning. Without hesitation. His voice low. I'll master them one by one. Slowly. Properly. Because rushing was what destroyed most people in both worlds. A village that doesn't know his name. Morning came softly. No alarms. No war cries. Just the quiet rhythm of a small village waking up. Keijuki moved among them like he always did. Carrying water. Fixing broken wood. Helping without being noticed. This is enough. No one here knew what he could do. And that was exactly how he wanted it. A rule reaffirmed. He stood at the edge of the village, looking out toward the distant hills. No devil fruits. Not unless absolutely necessary. No chakra techniques that stand out. And most importantly, no name. Only one path. Roku Shiki. The discipline of the body. Focus, Jeppo, airwalk. Of all 6 techniques, this one called to him the most. Not for combat, but for freedom. Training begins before sunrise. Keijuki stood alone in an open field. He bent his knees slightly, compressed strength into his legs. Again. Step. A sharp kick into the air. And he rose. Just slightly. Then fell. Failure count. 37. He kept track. Not out loud, but precisely. Second attempt. Step. Higher this time. A second step. Then instability. He dropped again. Control over force distribution is off. Understanding the technique. Jeppo wasn't about jumping. It was about kicking the air itself. Compressing it. Using it as a foothold. Keijuki's adjustment. Less force. More precision. Not power. Timing. Third attempt. Step. He rose. Step. Held position. A brief moment. Floating. Better. Daily life continues. By day. Nothing changed. Children played. Villagers worked. Keijuki blended in. Even smiled occasionally. But every now and then, he looked up. At the sky. Night training, the real progress. Under moonlight. He trained again. And again. And again. Jeppo, improvement. 3 steps. Then 4. Then 5. Until he stopped falling. A moment of stillness. Keijuki stood. Midair. Balanced. Silent. This is it. Application, Silent Guardian. The technique wasn't just for movement. It became observation. From above. He watched the village at night. No one saw him. No footprints. No sound. This is safer. First threat. It came quietly. 3 men. Not Shinobi. But desperate. Armed. Hungry. Keijuki watched. From above. Midair. Still. They'll take food. Maybe worse. Decision. No fruit. No flashy moves. Just skill. Interception. Step. He moved through the air. Silent. Landing behind them. No words. Only action. Through. He vanished. Reappeared behind the first. Shogun. A precise strike. The man collapsed instantly. Second attacker. Turned too late. Rankyaku. A controlled kick. Her blade cut his weapon in half. Not him. Third one ran. Fear overtook him. Keijuki didn't chase. Leaving is enough. Aftermath. The village never knew. Only that. Nothing happened. Which was exactly the point. Growth through stillness. Days turned into weeks. Keijuki refined his movement. Jeppo became second nature. Now he could walk across rooftops. Without touching them. Hover. 4 minutes. Change direction midair. Limitations remain. Still required stamina. Still required focus. But it was enough. In a reflection. Keijuki sat on a rooftop. Floating just above it. Looking down at the quiet village. I don't need to be strong here. A pause. I just need to be enough. A subtle shift. Even without using devil fruits. His body was changing. Stronger. Faster. More precise. Roku Shiki wasn't just technique anymore. It was becoming instinct. Final scene, a step into the sky. At dawn. Keijuki took a single step. Then another. Then another. Walking. Not on land. But on air. The sun rose behind him. Casting a long shadow over the peaceful village below. His final thought. I'll protect this place. A pause. Without ever being seen. A quiet decision. The village slept peacefully. Keijuki stood at its edge one last time. No attachment. No hesitation. It's stable now. Not because it was strong. But because he made sure it stayed untouched. Insurance, the shadow that remains. Keijuki formed a single hand sign. Chakra split. A perfect copy stepped forward. Shadow clone. Not for battle. Not for deception. But for protection. You know what to do. The clone nodded. No words needed. Instructions embedded. Stay hidden. Intervene only if necessary. Use Roku Shiki only. Never reveal identity. The clone vanished into the village. Life continued. As if Keijuki never left. Another shadow, far away. Keijuki's gaze shifted. Toward the direction of the rain country. Where 3 children walked a fragile path. Nagato. Yoriko. Kanon. Just in case. Another hand sign. Another clone. This one different. More distant. More restrained. It wouldn't interfere with Jiraiya's role. Only prevent early death. Nothing more. Keijuki's whisper. Walk your path. I'll make sure you get there. Departure, the sky route. Now. He moved. Not on land. Not through forests. He looked up. Let's try something new. Activation, strings of the sky. Keijuki raised his hand slowly. Invisible threads extended outward. Connecting. To clouds. To air itself. The power of Don Quixote do Flamingo. First pull. He lifted. Not jumping. But being carried. Jeppo and strings. Step. Airwalk stabilized his footing. Strings anchored his direction. Result. Controlled flight. This is efficient. Travel above the world. Keijuki moved across the sky. Silent. Untouchable. Below him. Rivers flowed. Villages lived. Conflicts brewed. Far away. But up here. Nothing touched him. This distance. A pause. Is necessary. Mid-flight realization. Combining abilities. Even indirectly. Was possible. Not simultaneous use. But led application. Technique developed. Sky thread step. Strings anchor trajectory. Jeppo maintains elevation. Minimal chakra usage. Maximum efficiency. This will be useful. Approaching fire country. The air changed. Warmer. Familiar. Distant view. Walls. Carved faces. The symbol of stability. Konohigakyo. Back again. Landing without a trace. Keijuki descended slowly. Releasing strings. Reducing steps. Until his feet touched the ground. No sound. No presence. A different perspective. This time. He wasn't the same. Not the survivor. Not the observer. He was prepared. More controlled. More disciplined. But still hidden. I won't rush. Final scene, watching from above once more. That night. Keijuki stood midair again. Looking down at the village. Somewhere below. A young Naruto Uzumaki laughed loudly. Unaware of everything to come. Keijuki's eyes softened slightly. You'll carry everything. A pause. So I'll carry what I can before that. 2 shadows in 2 lands. One protecting a peaceful village. One guarding 3 children of fate. And the original. Back where it all began. Konoha, blending into the ordinary. The village of Konohigakyo was loud. Children ran through the streets. Merchants called out. Shinobi passed overhead. Keijuki walked among them. Unnoticed. Same as before. But this time. He didn't watch from afar. He lived inside it. A new identity. Not a Shinobi. Not a prodigy. Just a quiet boy. He found a small place to stay. Worked simple jobs. Carried supplies. Helped shops. Nothing special. Nothing memorable. Outward appearance. Young. Calm. Polite. Inside. A mind that had seen war, gods, and time fracture. Strange. He sometimes forgot. He was supposed to act like a child. Learning to act. At first. It was awkward. Children his age argued over trivial things. Got excited over small wins. Complained loudly. Keijuki observed. Then. Adapted. Practice. Smile more. React slower. Pretend curiosity. This is harder than training. A softer side of life. Over time. He became familiar to certain people. Not as anything important. Just a polite, helpful kid. Shop owners. Hey, you're back again. Millimeter. Short replies. Respectful tone. Elderly villagers. You're such a good boy. He nodded. Didn't deny it. Didn't accept it either. Interactions he didn't expect. It started small. A woman running a food stall handed him extra. Growing boys need more. Keijuki paused. Thank you. Another day. A young kunoichi laughed lightly. You're too serious for your age. Keijuki tilted his head slightly. Am I? She smiled. Yeah. Try relaxing a little. Internal thought. Relaxing. A concept. He wasn't used to. Slowly, something changes. He began staying longer. Listening to conversations. Helping without being asked. Not for strategy. Not for survival. But because. This is peaceful. A subtle balance. Keijuki never crossed a line. No deep attachments. No revealing moments. But he didn't isolate himself either. A careful distance. Close enough to belong. Far enough to disappear if needed. Daily routine. Morning, work. Afternoon, errands. Evening, quiet observation. Night, training. Training remains. Even in this life. He didn't stop. Roku Shaiki only. Jeppo. Silent steps above rooftops. Kamii. Avoiding falling leaves without touch. Shigan. Precise strikes against wood and stone. No flashy displays. No witnesses. A moment of stillness. One evening. He sat near a small shop. Watching people pass. Laughing. Talking. Among them. A loud voice echoed in the distance. Naruto Uzumaki. Keijuki didn't turn. Didn't react. Not my place. Unexpected conversation. The same kunoichi from before sat beside him. You always sit here. Keijuki nodded slightly. It's quiet. She laughed softly. This is the noisiest street in Konoha. He thought for a moment. Then I've gotten used to it. She studied him. You talk like an old man. Keijuki looked forward. Maybe I am. She smiled again. But didn't press further. In a reflection. Keijuki realized something important. Strength wasn't everything. Control wasn't everything. This quiet life. These small interactions. They were part of what he was protecting. That night. Keijuki stood above the rooftops. Walking slowly through the air. Watching over the village. Below. Lights flickered. People rested. His thoughts. I can stay like this for a while. A pause. Just a little longer. Because for the first time. He wasn't preparing for war. He was experiencing something rare. Stillness before bloodshed. Night settled deeper over. Konohigakyo. Keijuki stood unmoving. But this time. His thoughts were no longer uncertain. I remember. Not fragments. Not guesses. Clear. Precise. Undeniable. A distortion in space. A presence beyond Shinobi. A pressure that didn't belong to this world. And then. White. Silence. Reversal. The truth settles. It was them. Zatsuki clan. No doubt remained. He wasn't caught in it. He was moved by it. A dangerous curiosity. Keijuki slowly clenched his hand. If they can do it. Time. Space. Causality. A faint smile formed. Can I? Not now. He understood the gap. His current power. Even with devil fruits, Roku Shaiki, and chakra. Wasn't enough. But one day. Control returns. His gaze shifted toward the distant Uchiha district. Focus sharpened instantly. Later. Now, mission. The night begins, backside story. The story the world would remember. Was simple. Itakai Uchiha slaughtered his clan. But tonight. There were things unseen. Multiple perspectives, the hidden layer. Clone 1, the silent cold. A masked figure moved along the rooftops. Ice gathered beneath his feet. Silent. Controlled. Inside a home. A child slept. Unaware. A shadow passed the window. Paused. Then. Frost spread lightly along the door. Purpose. Delay entry. Change timing. 5 minutes is enough. Clone 2, flicker of flame. Elsewhere. A different masked Tengu moved quickly. Fire danced faintly across his fingertips. A patrol route. Uchiha Shinobi walking toward a sector. A sudden flare. Not an attack. A distraction. Fire. They shifted direction. Purpose. Redirect. Prevent intersection. Don't meet him yet. Clone 3, lightning intercept. A flicker. Gone. Reappeared. A kunai thrown in the dark. Deflected midair. No sound. A civilian stumbled back. Alive. Too close. Clone 4, strings in the dark. Invisible threads stretched between rooftops. Barely perceptible. A masked figure passed. Paused. Turned. For a moment. It felt like he sensed something. Itakai Uchiha. The threads went still. Silent. Keijuki's clone didn't move. Didn't breathe. A long second passed. Then. Itakai continued walking. The clone thought. That was close. Clone 5, absolute guard. At the edge of the district. A barrier, invisible, thin. Placed strategically. Not to stop. But to deflect direction. Small movements. Subtle influence. No large changes. Just enough. Keijuki, the observer above. High above. Using. Jeppo. Keijuki watched everything unfold. Each movement. Each deviation. Good. No chaos. No collapse of timeline. Just. Small changes. Understanding the balance. Keijuki's mind worked constantly. Don't stop it completely. Reshape it. Because he knew. If the event vanished entirely, the future could become worse. So instead, he allowed the illusion of tragedy, while reducing the reality of death. A glimpse of fate. Far below. A house. A brother. A moment that must happen. Saju Uchiha. Keijuki didn't interfere. That one stays. Because some pain shaped the future. In a conflict. Am I saving them? Or just choosing who lives? For a moment. He felt it. The weight of control. Then. It passed. I chose this. A line Keijuki didn't want to cross. The night deepened over. Konohigakyo. From above. Everything still looked the same. Flickers of movement. Darkened streets. Silent rooftops. History. Still unfolding. But beneath it. Something had changed. Keijuki's eyes narrowed slightly. There's another force. Not. Itakai Uchiha. Not the clan. Root. The hidden truth of the night. This wasn't just one man's burden. The massacre was assisted. Enabled. Ensured. Keijuki exhaled slowly. So even if I adjust one side, the other completes it. Decision, no more partial control. Up until now, he had been careful. Minimal interference. Subtle changes. But this couldn't be left alone. They die tonight. No hesitation. No doubt. Clone command, shift in strategy. Within his mind, the clones received a new directive. New objective. Eliminate root operatives involved in the operation. Silently. Completely. No witnesses. No survivors. The execution begins. Clone 4, strings of judgment. Threads spread across the rooftops. Thin. Invisible. Deadly. A squad moved through the shadows. Emotionless. Silent. Before they could react, their movements stopped. Strings tightened. A single motion. Silence returned. Efficient. Clone 3, lightning assassination. A flicker. Gone. Reappeared behind a masked root Shinobi. No warning. A precise strike. And the body dropped before it understood death. No pain. Clone 1, frozen grave. A corridor. 3 operatives. Ice spread across the ground. Instant. Their legs froze. Their breath turned to mist. Then. Stillness. Clean. Keijuki watches, expression unchanged. Above them. Keijuki observed. No pride. No regret. Necessary. Because this wasn't random killing. It was removal of inevitability. The most dangerous clone. Clone 6, the predator. A new presence moved differently. Slower. Heavier. A calm, controlled aura. Like a beast holding back. This clone had chosen something specific. A fruit Keijuki had hesitated to use. Neko no Mi model leopard. Owner in original world. Roblox. Transformation. Not fully unleashed. But enough. Muscles tightened. Senses sharpened. Predatory instinct awakened. Efficient elimination requires instinct. Inside a root base. Underground. Hidden. Root operatives prepared to move. Then. A presence appeared behind them. Too fast to track. Too quiet to detect. One fell. Then another. No wasted movement. No excess force. Just. Perfect killing efficiency. Clones thought. This ability is dangerously effective. Above ground, the night shifts. The massacre. Slowed. Interrupted. Without root. The coordination weakened. The certainty broke. Even. Itakai Achaiha. Paused. A rare moment. He looked into the distance. Eyes narrowing. Something's off. Keijuki realizes. I've gone too far. Because now. Even the key player noticed. Internal conflict. Keijuki closed his eyes briefly. But if I stop now, they finish it. So. He didn't stop. The hidden outcome. One by one. Root operatives disappeared. Silently erased. The massacre was no longer absolute. A dangerous shift in fate. What should have been a clean, tragic event became fragmented. Uncertain. So much Iha lived. Hidden. Escaped. Delayed death avoided. But at a cost. The story itself was beginning to change. Keijuki stood for a moment longer. Watching. Calculating. Then. He turned away. That's enough for me. Not because the mission was over. But because control didn't require presence. Trust in himself. His clones weren't tools. They were extensions of perfect intent. Each one carried his will. His judgment. His precision. They'll finish it. With that, Keijuki descended silently. Blending back into the village. Into his role. A child. POV shift, the clone that became a predator. Deep within the shadows. Darkness swallowed the underground corridors. Hidden passages used by Root. Emotionless. Efficient. But tonight, something else hunted within them. The masked Anbu stopped walking. The air shifted. Subtle. But wrong. A second presence. Behind him. He turned. Too late. The leopard awakens. The clone stood there. Still wearing an Anbu mask. But beneath it. Something primal stirred. Power drawn from Neko no Mi model leopard. Original wielder. Roblox. Transformation, controlled. Not full. Not reckless. Perfectly balanced. Muscle density increased. Reflexes sharpened. Senses expanded. Heartbeat. Slower. Stronger. This is efficient. First strike. The root operative lunged. Precise. Silent. The clone didn't move. At the last moment. He disappeared. Appearing behind. One finger extended. Shogun. A single strike. And the body collapsed. No scream. No resistance. Clean. Flow of combat. More operatives arrived. 3. Their coordination was flawless. But they were fighting a predator. Movement. Not Shinobi-like. Not readable. Wild. But controlled. The clone moved between them. Dodging without effort. One grabbed. Missed. Another attacked. Redirected. Then. Roku Shiki integration. Through. A burst of speed. Too fast for the eye. Rankyaku. A slicing air blade. Cut through the corridor's silence. Tekai. A blade struck his body. And stopped. Clones thought. This body is optimized. Predator vs emotionless tools. Root Shinobi felt nothing. No fear. No hesitation. But instinct. Still existed. And right now. Every instinct screamed. Run. The turning point. One operative tried to escape. The clone didn't chase immediately. He waited. Counted steps. Measured distance. Then. Jeppo. He stepped into the air. And dropped silently behind him. A hand reached forward. And everything ended. Silence returns. Bodies lay still. No trace of struggle. The clone stood alone. Breathing steady. A realization. I'm not just stopping them. I'm rewriting this night. Above, the illusion of tragedy continues. Elsewhere. The story still unfolded. Itakai Achaiha continued his path. Saju Kachaiha still faced the moment that shaped him. But beneath it, the truth had changed. The clone looks up. Even underground. He could feel it. The shift. The fracture in fate. We are succeeding. Final action, erasing evidence. The clone moved quickly. Removing traces. Adjusting positions. To anyone who would investigate. This would still look like a massacre. Keijuki, at home. Back in his small room. Keijuki lay quietly. Eyes closed. But his mind was everywhere. Feeling every movement. Every action. Every death. A whisper in the dark. This is the only way. No pride. No celebration. But somewhere deep inside, a quiet truth formed. He became something else tonight. Not just a survivor. Not just a watcher. The night had already ended. At least. That's what it looked like. Smoke lingered faintly over Konohigakyo. The streets were empty. The screams. Gone. The story. Already forming. But beneath that story, something remained. Bodies. Evidence. Truth. And walking through it, a single masked figure. The cleanup begins. This clone moved slower than the others. Not because it lacked ability, but because its role required precision. Patience. This is the part no one sees. Where others fought, he raised. The power he chose. From the beginning. This clone was different. Not built for speed. Not built for combat. But for absolute removal. Power drawn from Yomi Yomi no Mi. Original wielder. Marshal D. Teach. A dangerous ability. Darkness gathered at his palm. Not shadow. Not chakra. Something heavier. Something that pulled. Gravity. No, more than that. First contact. The clone knelt beside a fallen root operative. A mask still covering his face. Identity erased. Purpose fulfilled. The clone placed a hand over the body. Darkness expanded. Not violently. Not explosively. Silently. The body collapsed inward. No blood. No trace. Just gone. Understanding the power. The clone paused. Studying his own hand. This doesn't destroy. It consumes. A fundamental difference. The body wasn't erased. It was taken. Where? He didn't know. But he understood enough. Nothing returns from this. Moving through the night. Step by step. He walked through the aftermath. Each body. Handled the same. A touch. Darkness. Silence. Contrast to the battlefield. Where others fought. There was noise. Movement. Impact. Here. There was only absence. A strange feeling. As more bodies disappeared. The clone felt it. Wait. Not physical. Something deeper. Is this consequence? Not regret. Not guilt. But awareness. Each disappearance removed a thread from reality. A person. A life. A possibility. And he was deciding it. A moment of pause. He stopped beside a smaller figure. Not Root. Not Achaiha. A civilian. Caught in the wrong place. The clone stared for a moment. This one wasn't part of the plan. Silence. Then. He reached out. Darkness formed again. And the body vanished. Internal conflict. Even with intervention. Not everything can be saved. A truth. Keijuki already knew. But feeling it directly was different. Expanding the ability. The clone experimented carefully. Instead of touching, He released darkness outward. A small field formed. Debris. Weapons. Fragments. Everything pulled inward. Consumed. Useful. But dangerous. Too large. And it could draw attention. Too careless. And it could disrupt more than intended. Final sweep. The underground base. The streets. Hidden corners. Every trace of root involvement. Removed. Every body. Gone. Miles away. In a small quiet room. Keijuki's eyes opened. He felt everything. Every disappearance. Every action. A long silence followed. It's done. No satisfaction. No relief. Just completion. A new reality. The night of massacre still existed. But now, it was incomplete. Within the shadows of the Uchiha clan district, a single figure stopped walking. Itakai Uchiha. His eyes narrowed slightly. You've been following me. Silence answered him. Then, a masked Angu stepped forward from the darkness. Calm. Unhurried. The clone. He didn't speak immediately. Didn't move. Just stood there. Like a wall between paths. Tension without sound. Itakai observed. Every detail. Every movement. Every breath. You're not Root. A statement. Not a question. The clone tilted his head slightly. Correct. The air tightened. Killing intent. Subtle. Controlled. But unmistakable. First move. Itakai disappeared. No wasted motion. No warning. A blade aimed for the clone's throat. Response. The clone didn't step back. Didn't block. He moved. Just enough. The blade passed. Missing by a fraction. Internal. Fast. Second exchange. Itakai pressed forward. Fluid. Precise. The clone answered. With something unfamiliar. Roku Shiki vs Sharingan. Through. A burst. Vanishing from sight. Itakai's eyes sharpened. Tracking. But slower than expected. Shugen. A strike aimed at the chest. Itakai twisted. Barely avoiding it. Itakai's thought. This isn't chakra movement. Observation battle. Neither rushed. Both adapted. Itakai activated his Sharingan fully. Reading. Predicting. But something was wrong. The clone's movements didn't follow normal patterns. They weren't readable through chakra flow. What are you? The clone speaks. Someone correcting a mistake. Haki emerges. The air shifted. Subtle. But heavy. An invisible pressure spread outward. Itakai felt it immediately. This presence. Not chakra. Not genjutsu. Something deeper. Clash. Itakai attacked again. Faster. Sharper. The clone raised his arm. Bisashoku Haki. The blade struck. And stopped. A metallic echo. Without metal. Itakai's eyes widened slightly. Impossible. Close combat. The clone moved in. Tekai. Itakai's counter-strike landed. But the body didn't yield. Rankyaku. A slicing arc of air. Forced Itakai to retreat. The turning moment. Itakai stepped back. Breathing steady. But now. He wasn't just fighting. He was analyzing. You're not here to kill me. The clone didn't deny it. Correct. The mask falls. A brief pause. Wind passed between them. Then. The clone reached up. And removed the Angu mask. Revelation. Itakai's eyes widened. For the first time. Because the face staring back at him was his own. Not similar. Not resembling. Identical. What? The clone speaks again. Calm. Unshaken. You're naive. A step forward. And you're being manipulated. The words that cut deeper than blades. By the will of fire. Will of fire. Silence followed. Itakai's reaction. His expression didn't break. But inside. Something shifted. Explain. The clone's eyes narrowed. You believe this is sacrifice. Necessary. A pause. It isn't. Truth without full revelation. You're cleaning a problem created by the very system you're protecting. Itakai's gaze sharpened. You speak like you know everything. The clone's final line. I know enough. And tonight, you're not killing everyone. A shift in the air. For the first time, Itakai hesitated. Not from fear, but from doubt. The clone steps back. No attack. No follow-up. Just distance. Think. And then, he vanished. Aftermath. Itakai stood alone. The night felt different now. Uncertain. A thought he couldn't ignore. Was I wrong? Far away, Keijuki. In his room. Keijuki opened his eyes again. He felt it. That moment. The confrontation. A faint smile appeared. Plant the doubt. Because sometimes, the strongest weapon wasn't power,